how do you describe it? Kind of
Sorry,
like the social services or
like what though? Sorry, can you be specific on what things that the
like
left
food
economic?
stamps, like well, just something that I would think like off the top of my head, something that I could relate to, like the food stamp program. Like I don't think like yeah, it feeds people, but it gives them like a lot of like terrible options, and you can't buy like hot food with food stamps, which makes sense, right?
That's not a problem
But
with Democratic policies. That's a problem with Republicans
no,
stopping Democratic policies.
okay, it's stopping them from doing what?
Yeah, so if the Democrats were left completely to their own accord, then freaking everybody who needs food would be able to be available for them, and that food would be a lot more healthy. The problem is that every time the Democrats try to push some type of policy that states something like that, where we help to feed people, the Republicans call it socialist and say we're trying to feed everybody who didn't work for it, and we're trying to give free handouts. So this isn't a problem with Democratic policies. Democrats
Can we
up to their
pause?
own would do that on their own.
Can we pause there? And I understand your sentiment, but would we, is it even like an option to actually give people, like everybody, access to free food?
Is it an option? Yeah, it's an
I don't even
option.
think I don't think we could actually successfully do that.
We could, but that's not even what
Who's gonna,
Democrats are. But that's
well,
not even what Democrats are pushing
that's
for.
not gonna work. I'll tell you that's not gonna work right now.
But
And I
that's not
think it's
what
pretty
Democrats are
obvious
pushing
why
for.
that would
I
work.
said everybody who needs it. I didn't say
Yeah,
everybody.
okay, okay. Sure, that's still not possible by
Yes, it is.
because someone has to pay for just the labor alone. It's like, where are we getting all this money from? Like, maybe some of the directed money from Doge could help you out there, but I don't see the
We
Democrats
already have a food stamp
doing anything
program.
like
I
that.
don't understand what you're talking about. That was already
Well,
done.
yes, I understand, but I don't think it's done very well. That was just one example I
Hold
gave.
on, sir. So you're not saying it's not done well. You're saying we need more access.
Uh, no, my point was that it's not being done very well because people just buy nasty food, and it's like
Sir, people have
it's
access to
not like
nasty food. Okay. Not only do people have access to nasty food, but on top of that, okay, there isn't regulation on our food within our country to a correct spot in which they can even do that. And on top of that, their SNAP benefits and like food stamp stuff are limited in far as funding. And in this country, less healthy food is usually cheaper.
yeah, and that's a problem. And I'm not saying that's exclusively Democrats, but when RFK gets into office, like, and he's trying to promote a healthier lifestyle, they just want to shut him down and they want to demonize him with, anything they can, especially with how he talks about autism. Like, I understand how that can trigger some people, but there's also autistic people that I know that are intrigued by that, and it's just back
Autistic
to
people
my
get
point
intrigued by a
as
lot
to
of
why.
things. That's part of being on the spectrum. But regardless of that, sir, you know who
Sorry, what'd you
else was
say?
actually trying to freaking push, healthy eating and all that sort of stuff?
Who?
Michelle Obama, and you guys just called her a man for 4 years.
Well, it's not you guys. I mean, I have called her a man because it's funny, but
So
I'm not
literally,
a
you
Trump
guys.
supporter. Well, I mean, I called her a man, but it wasn't because she tried to feed people healthier food.
Uh, doesn't matter. Instead of listening to the things that she was saying, it doesn't matter why you did it. Okay. Instead
Yeah,
of
no,
listening,
I
hold
didn't
on,
hate her.
hold
I
on,
like them.
hold on.
You don't got to
While
get
she
aggressive
was
now.
trying, no, I'm just trying to speak and you won't let me. That's why I'm
I'm
telling you to
listening.
hold on.
I'm listening. I'm
You're
listening.
talking. Cool. So while she was pushing all these wonderful policies to help, bring better food into the United States, to help freaking, make, children more healthy, especially when it comes to school meals and all that sort of stuff. While she was doing all of that stuff, okay, instead of embracing the policies that she was trying to bring, you guys instead used misogynistic language like calling her a man, which freaking discredited her, which didn't allow her to do that stuff. But now,
I don't
I'm
think that's
still
true at all.
talking.
Okay, okay, okay.
I promise you I
I
will
thought
give
that
you
was the end of
plenty
your
of
point.
time.
Yeah,
I
yeah, okay.
promise I will give you plenty of time once I'm done. Just the smallest amount of self-control is always very important, okay?
Okay, I thought
But
you were
then when
done.
RFK comes in and says y'all should be healthy, and he's, a wealthy white man, then all of a sudden it's like, hey, let's listen to what this guy has to say. So when a black woman did it, she's a man. When a rich white guy does it, we should listen to what he has to say.
Are you done?
Yeah, see how I stopped talking?
I wasn't sure if you were done.
That's
okay.
usually what it means I'm done when I'm stopped.
But you didn't really add any more information. I knew what you were getting at, so I figured
I could add a whole bunch of information about how RFK is no way a doctor, how he's a conspiracy theorist, how he's an anti-vaxxer, how he pushes misinformation that hurts people, including things with measles.
I can tell you're getting upset by this.
I'm not upset, sweetheart. I'm sorry that your dad yelled at you and you think that that's upset now, okay? I'm barely even raising my voice.
My dad was not around.
That makes sense to why that does make sense to why you're offended by me, like, not even raising my voice.
I'm not offended.
Oh, you're like, oh, you're emotional. I'm not emotional, sir.
I mean, you are.
No, I'm not.
Okay, all right.
There is nothing that you could say to make me emotional.
I'm not as invested in this as you are, obviously. So maybe
you don't know the level of invested I am in it or not.
I can tell.
No, you can't.
Yes, I can.
Well, see, sir, you just said I was emotional, and truly,
dude, you're getting so triggered. You're getting so triggered. We can talk about something.
Jesus fucking Christ, dude. You're trying. You need me to be emotional and upset. Okay, you need that. All right, but do you see how?
Stop getting so upset. Try to have some fun.
But do you see how I'm speaking nice and calmly, and every single time I say 4 words, you start screaming? Okay, that's what's called emotion.
Wait,
okay, because I'm tired of you talking while I'm talking, and I'm tired of you just yelling. This is you. This is me speaking exactly in this tone, exactly like this for the whole conversation. This is you. Oh my God, you're so emotional. Oh my God, you're so emotional. I can't believe it. Oh, you're so triggered. Oh my God.
Am I really being that loud?
That's you. Okay, that's what you sound like. Okay. You're the one that's freaking yelling into the microphone, crying very loudly, telling me that I'm emotional.
Dude, no way.
And again, you're talking while I'm talking. Okay? So if you'd like to make a point based off of the argument that I made, then you are more than welcome to make that point. If you are not going to, then what are we talking about? Because I don't need to sit up here and listen to you cry and whine about how you think my emotions are, okay?
Okay, are we good?
I've been great the whole time,
dude,
sweetheart.
You got so triggered.
There he goes again.
Yes, I know. You're upset. It's okay. This is your job.
There is literally nothing you could do to upset me, sir. I do this for hours a day, every single day.
I'm sure.
And I talk to people that are both a lot smarter than you and a lot dumber than you, okay? And to be completely fucking honest with you, if I got emotional and triggered over this entire thing, then I wouldn't be very good at doing it, okay? So you can lay off. Again, if you want to talk about my emotions, then you can gladly excuse yourself from my live. I'm not interested in having a wine fest with a grown man.
Okay, so I'll stop bullying, but we can actually still talk, right?
You're not even bullying. I'm just tired of hearing your rhetoric.
It's okay. Are you that upset, or can we still talk?
All right, this guy just wants to talk about my emotions. Now I just think he's trying to date me, and so honestly, I really have no interest in that. I am here to talk politics, and I'm very, very sorry that your father wasn't there. So when somebody talks at you sternly, you were never taught to go ahead and take it and to move forward with your life, okay? I get it, okay? But therapy's not that expensive. Okay? Therapy's not that expensive. All right? I know it can be pricey, but it's not that expensive. Hello? Yeah, you can get a therapist for a reasonable price, okay? And you can work through those childhood issues. That way, when you can come up on my live, you're not less up here with so much like sexual tension towards another man that you're just getting ready to explode. All right? It is possible for you. All right, it is possible for you. You can make your way out of that, okay? I promise. I've seen people do it. If Kayla's here, Kayla does do therapy. She is a therapist, and she's a very awesome therapist, okay? And so she can help you out, all right? She does charge double for Trump supporters, okay? Because you guys need a lot more work. All right. And that's fair. Honestly, she probably should charge triple. To be completely honest with you, she probably should charge triple. Because double really isn't, No, Carl, I asked you 3 times to talk about policy and talk about the things that we actually are talking about here. And all 3 times you decided to talk about how you feel about me. Okay. And that's okay. That's okay. No, Carl, you don't matter. I could sit up here with nobody else here and still be more interesting than you being here. Okay? Because nobody wants to hear a grown man whine and cry like that. Okay? He's getting muted. Oh, I already muted him. Hello?
Hey, I have a theory about what's going on with politics.
Doesn't sound like I care. Did you vote for Trump?
Well, yeah.
Awesome. Do you still support him?
Yeah.
Awesome. Why is that?
Well, it goes back to my theory is that Democrats are Dunning-Krugers with a histrionic personality disorder, and they...
Yeah, no one cares. I asked you specifically on why you're supporting Trump, not what you think about Democrats. Okay? Again, y'all, it's not that hard to just follow the directions of the conversation. You tell me why you support Trump, then we have a conversation. Okay? But if you support Trump's because Democrats are XYZ, that doesn't make any sense, sir. Sir, why are you guys in my chat whining? He didn't answer the question. He used words in there you probably you don't even understand. I will... Right here. Okay. Retired captain. How about this? Retired captain. All right. If you come up here right now, I will ask you one question about what he said. And if you actually answer it, I will Venmo you right now. If you come up here right now, I will ask you one question about what he said. And if you answer it, I will Venmo you right now. You see how retired captain is not coming up here. I was going to Venmo him right away. I would have sent him money. Hello, guest. How are you?
Hey, how are you? I'm doing well.
That's awesome. Did you vote for Trump?
Oh, yes, I did.
Awesome. Do you still support him?
Yes, I do.
Awesome. Why is that?
I think he's doing a lot of great things right now. I'm actually glad we have a president that has a spine, that's actually competent. He's been doing a lot of good. So.
All right. So what has he been doing that's competent?
I think the whole tariff thing was pretty good. Deporting the mass deportations, that's another good thing that he's doing. He's really getting out the government waste as well.
All right. So if he's getting out the government waste, how come the government is spending more than it's been in the last forever? Like government spending is an all-time high.
It's fake news, man.
That's not fake news. So again, we're not going to play this whole fake news thing. Government spending is at an all-time high. Okay, that is a fact. I'm asking you if he's getting rid of things like waste, then why is the government spending so high?
I mean, the government's doing a lot right now.
Okay, gotcha. So what is he getting rid of that's wasteful?
I can name 2 things right off the bat. So we have
send it.
The $20 million episode of Sesame Street for PBS, and it's actually funny that he cut the funding for that. Like, I guess a day ago, he cut the funding for PBS, so all that's gonna go in the trash. Mm-hmm. The Sesame Street and all that. And also the transgender studies on, I guess, shrimp or what is it, fish? Transgenic studies, whatever it is.
That would be mice.
Or mice, yeah.
Yeah,
like
okay.
that.
So let's start with the first one, okay?
Okay.
Cool. Who owns Sesame Street?
PBS.
Incorrect. Try again.
I'm unaware then.
Okay. So it's not PBS, okay? It's actually owned by a private company. I think it's Jim Henson Company, right? That's under Sesame Street Workshop, which is a global nonprofit.
That's new to me, man. I think this is all money laundering, so yeah, it needs to be stopped.
Sure, you can think that, okay, but I'm still in the middle of a sentence speaking, okay? Cool, awesome. So since PBS doesn't own the rights to Sesame Street, they can't create individual episodes. And since that's the case, Okay. That means that the government funding for PBS didn't ever go to create a PBS episode. So that's already not true. And it's already been debunked by multiple
Oh no,
different.
sir, it is true. It was a PBS episode made for
by. Cool.
You sound like your president. You got a stutter issue.
All right, cool. And you sound like your president, the inability to have self-control. Okay, awesome. So because of that, this has already been debunked multiple times. As far as the transgenic mice, do you understand what transgenic mice are?
I really have no care in the world to find out. So,
well, how are you saying that it's a wasteful thing?
It is a wasteful thing.
How are you saying that it's wasteful if you don't know what it is?
It's very wasteful. How does it benefit any of us?
Sir, that's what I'm trying to get to. Okay. But how can you say something is wasteful?
Justify the transgenic mice. Come on, dude.
Sir, if I will gladly do that if you tell me what it is.
I mean, he's taken the woman's rights away. That's another good one.
All right, sir. How are you going to say something is wasteful if,
You
again, you don't
it's wasteful. You're
know?
not digging into it.
We don't know whether it's wasteful because only I know what it is and you don't. So how can we know anything when only one of us knows what transgenic mice are and what they do, and the other person is saying wasteful even though they have no clue what it is?
Oh my God, dude. What do transgenic mice do? What do they do?
Just say, no, sir, all you have to do is say, I don't know what transgenic mice are. Go ahead.
I don't know what transgenic mice are.
Okay, and then answer the question, how can you say something is wasteful if you don't know what it is?
It's benefiting none of us.
Gotcha.
Why is
the
money
thing
being
that
spent
the
on
thing that he doesn't know what it is benefiting no one. Got you. Okay, so transgenic mice are actually when you take small parts of human DNA and you put it inside of mice, and then you use that for medical testing. Okay, that way when the mice, and they do it with a bunch of other animals also, but it's mostly mice, right? And so that way, when they put these medical studies onto mice, whether it's medicine or treatments for different genetic diseases, okay, the mice act more like human beings do, so they know whether that treatment is actually more effective. So it helps to cure a lot of diseases by being able to test things on mice instead of humans, and being able to use them for studies when it comes to diseases at a higher rate and a better rate. Oh, don't run now, sweetheart. We're not done. Y'all, well, I believe this guest tries to figure out how to run. Can we get this thing up to 50,000 likes? I really appreciate that. Thank you so much. If you're ever on the TikTok side, make sure you hit that like and subscribe button. Also, if you'd like to call in, I do have the call-in number that is listed right above my head, which I forgot to bring up again. And again, somebody tried to call in, and again, I didn't have it up. So I'm screwing that up. And we'd have a conversation. Also, if you'd like to support the live, I do have Cash App, Venmo, PayPal. They're all at Polypolitics, just like my name. I have been working on this little live goal, and any help towards getting that down would really mean a lot. All right. Well, that last guest ran. I kind of saw that coming. It's just, it is a pretty wild thing to say, I don't like something that I don't know what it is. Isn't that pretty crazy? To just be like, I don't like this thing, but I don't know what it is. It's just weird. Anyways, hello, guest. How are you?
What's up?
How are you doing today?
I'm here.
Awesome. Did you vote for Trump?
Yes, I did.
Awesome. Do you still support him?
Yes, I do.
Awesome. What do you like?
I like the closed border, for starters.
Okay, and why is that important to you?
Because it should be important to every American. Because an open border means you don't have a country.
Well, that's not true. Is Italy a country?
It is true.
Is Italy a country?
Having an open border means that
Sir. I heard you the first time. I asked you a question.
You're going to interrupt me.
No. I asked you a question. Is Italy a country?
Is Italy a country? I don't care if Italy's a country.
Is Germany a country?
Why do you care about Italy?
Because you're saying you can't have a country without.
You care about Germany?
I care about what a country is.
Is the United States a country?
Yes. Now, will you please answer? So you don't know whether Italy's a country, right?
Why are we not entitled to a real border?
Sir, I don't answer your questions unless you answer mine. Okay, that's the way this works. If you answer my questions, then I answer your questions. It's a back and forth. Okay.
Okay.
Awesome.
Let's go
So
back
I
and forth
asked you,
then.
is Italy a country?
I would think so.
You would think
Wouldn't
so.
you? Wouldn't you?
Yes, Italy is a country. Is Germany a country?
Oh, you get 2 questions in a row, do you?
I get
Is the
plenty of
United
them.
States a country?
Yes. Now, is Germany a country?
No, we're not going to go back and back. Italy's a country. Germany's a
Why
country.
are you having
United
such
States
a
is
hard time
country.
answering like the simplest of questions?
Is the United States a country?
I already said yes. Now, is Germany a country?
So, do countries deserve to have borders?
Sir, because Italy and Germany are
We're not going
countries.
to go through the whole globe. And
We're
say
not. I
which
was actually
country's
done
a
after that
country,
one.
are
You're
we?
the only person having a hard time answering the simple questions.
I'm not
okay?
having a hard time at all.
Because you could have said
So you
yes,
asked me
and we
what's
could have been
important.
past this 3
You
minutes
asked
ago.
me what's important
No, I didn't.
about. You said.
Anyways, what
you
I was
said,
saying was,
am I happy?
all right,
that
I'll
I
just go
voted
ahead
for
and
Trump?
just explain the
And I
point.
said yes.
I'll just go ahead and explain the point, whether he's listening or not. It's not a big deal. Okay, so countries like
Did you
Italy
mute
and
me?
Germany, okay, they have open borders, and yet they are still countries. Okay, so yes, you can have a country with an open border, specifically within the Schengen region. Schengen region.
Did you
I always
mute me?
pronounce that. I always pronounce that incorrectly. Okay, the Schengen region of Italy. Okay, where you can move between those countries freely. But on top of that, we don't have an open border, and nor have we ever had an open border in this country. At least, in the last within my like 100 years or so. So it's not an equivalency. Now you can speak.
Oh, you unmuted me now. Thank you.
You weren't muted, sir.
Would you like to
No one
ask
can
me
unmute
again?
you but
Would
yourself.
you like to ask me again what I like about having Trump as president?
No, I would not.
So you're going to stop me at borders?
No, I just want you to respond to what I said.
You know what? I think open borders make for a weak country.
Okay,
So,
awesome.
yeah,
What is an
there are
open border? How about
countries-
that?
There are countries that have quote unquote open borders, but are they strong countries? No, they're not.
Okay, so you conceded already
want
that you can have a country
a
with an open
strong-
border.
I want a strong country with a border that you cannot just walk across.
Gotcha.
You have to
so
prove
you have
why
now
you're
conceded. You're part of the argument that says you don't have a country with you have an open border, because now you are saying you can have a country with an open border. Just to be clear.
No, I'm not even conceding that.
Okay,
I'm
cool.
saying
So
you
what
might
is an
be
open
right.
border?
You might be right that there are open border countries in the world, but I don't care about other countries.
That's
I care
fine.
about the United States of America.
That's fine. So what is an open border?
Well, it's a border that people can just come and go as they please across.
Okay, so that
Right?
would mean yes.
You tell me, what is an open border?
You just answered it.
Okay.
Cool. Now I'm moving on. Is that all right?
Sure. Go
Okay,
ahead.
awesome. So, if a border where people can come in and out all they want, right? And we had a record number of freaking border encounters, which means illegal crossings that were stopped by Border Patrol at the border. So, therefore, people were not just coming back and forth because obviously
When?
they were getting stopped at the highest
When?
rate in. Dude, sir, I am still talking.
No, when are you talking
Sir, if you would let me finish, you would already know the answer to this question. Is self-control that big of an issue for y'all?
about? Maybe. I don't know.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Well, we learned this very young. Okay. So, what
From
I was
who?
saying again, from our teachers in kindergarten,
Okay.
not
go
to
ahead.
speak when other people are speaking. You did graduate kindergarten, correct, sir?
No, never.
Well, that actually wouldn't surprise me. So, anyways, what I was saying was if we had the most number of border encounters, okay, we had the most amount of stops at our border, okay, in history, all right, which you guys tout all the time. All these people were coming. You're right. We know all those people came because we were stopping most of them, okay? Then how do we have an open border if the majority of those people are being stopped and Joe Biden had a higher number of deportees than Donald Trump did in his first term? He had a higher rate of deportation than Donald Trump did in his first term. So you're saying, can we have all of those statistics that are true and still have an open border?
That's a very heavily worded question. And maybe if I would have graduated kindergarten, I might care to answer it. I will tell you this, though. Under Biden, they're saying 20 million came across illegally, but you know what? I think that's blown up a bit. I'm going to go ahead and say half that. 10 million came across illegally. So you tell me that's a closed border?
Literally no statistic says that.
Really?
Literally no statistic says that. Now, are we talking about border encounters? 100%. There were over 10 million, somewhere between 10 and 15 million border encounters.
Cities then? Why do they need sanctuary cities if that didn't
sanctuary
happen?
cities were around under the Trump administration. You understand that, right? Sanctuary cities are not an invention that started with the Biden administration.
Invented sanctuary cities to protect illegal immigrants
Sir.
so that they could become potential voters. I understand that.
Sir,
Do you?
voters from Latin America are about a 50-50 shot to vote Republican.
Great. I don't give a shit, but they shouldn't
So
be
then
here.
why would the left be pushing for immigrant voters when they are just as likely to vote Republican as they are Democrat? And we saw that in the election, that especially Latinos are much more likely to actually vote more to the right. Okay,
When you start a
because they come
question
from
with
because
why
they
would
come
the left-
because the
why would the left
because the
be in favor
sir, here you
of-
go with that lack of kindergarten education again. I am
of
still in the middle
trans-
of a sentence. I am still in the middle of a sentence.
Maybe if I would have had a trans...
Maybe if you had had kindergarten and home training, you would learn not to speak when somebody else is speaking. Why would the left be pushing for voters that are more likely to vote on the right? And why would you be complaining about it?
Start every question with why would the left, and then finish your sentence and ask yourself, who the fuck are they really in? Who do they care about? They don't care about you. They care about themselves and how much money they can get. Look at Biden and his crooked ass family.
Sir, can you just answer the question that I asked you?
Because you're making up bullshit.
Sir,
They want
people
to
from
bring
what
in
is the
illegals.
majority
Listen,
of the what
all
is
right,
the
let me
majority
answer.
what
Let
is
me
the
answer.
what is
Let me
the
answer.
what is the majority of Latin America as far as religiously? What are they?
I would say Catholic, but
They
you know
are
what?
insanely Catholic, and Christian
But
and people
I
of
would
the
also
Christian
say
faith
that
are more
MS-13 is supposedly Catholic
awesome.
too.
And people that are religious are more likely to vote which direction?
Well, up until about 1990, I would say Catholics voted majority Democrat. Did you know that?
I didn't ask you about 1990. I'm asking about now.
Well, I'm telling you something. I'm telling you a fact.
Cool.
Because
Also,
I'm
the new
actually-
Justin Bieber
I
CD is
actually
out, and it's
am
pretty
Catholic.
dope. Unless we're
Did you
since
know
we're
that?
since we're talking about things that don't matter for the conversation. People
I
that are
actually am
more
Catholic,
religious
and I
are
can tell
more
you,
likely
up
to
until
vote
the 90s.
conservative or liberally.
No, that's not true.
I didn't say one thing is true or not true. I asked you a question.
And you know what? Even Jewish people vote majority Democrat too.
Sweet. Whenever
So-
you're ready to answer the question, you're more than welcome to do so.
You're saying that 50% of the people coming across the border are Catholic. Is that what you're saying?
Oh, I would probably say that number is much higher. I'm saying that
So then what's
50% of
your
people.
question?
I said
You
that
think
over
they're gonna
50%
vote
of people that come
Republican?
across the border are more
They're
likely
not
to
going to
vote
vote
right.
Republican. And you know
Yes,
what?
they do.
First of all, they shouldn't even be allowed to vote.
Yes, they do vote Republican, but that wasn't the original question.
They
sir.
shouldn't be allowed to
They're
vote.
not. It takes about 10 years from the time someone gets here to be able to vote, okay? Because that's how long it takes our immigration
Good.
system to catch up. But when they
Good.
can vote,
Unless they sneak
when
in
they
and
can vote, when they
illegally
can vote,
under liberal governments.
when they can vote, they are just as likely to vote right as they are left. So why would the left be pushing for a bunch of people to come into the country to vote
Because they
when there
want
is
to
literally
allow
just
them.
as good of a sorry, I'm not done. When there is just as good of
No,
a
I already
chance
heard your question.
when there then why haven't you answered it?
Because they want to allow them to vote illegally.
Sir,
Because-
even if they were voting illegally,
Let me finish
even
my
if
answer.
they were voting illegally, they are just as likely to vote illegally for the right as they are
Says
for
you.
the left.
Says you.
Says the statistics and the
Says
data.
you.
Says the
Says
statistics
you.
and the data. Says every
you know
single
what?
poll that's done shows the actual voting numbers from the last election and the election before and the election before that. Okay? Says all of the data sets from both the right and the left, okay? From the data sets from both right-leaning, left-leaning, central, independent government, all sources, okay, say that if you come to this country, okay, and
No,
immigrate to
not
this
okay.
country from Latin America, you are
Not
have about
okay.
a 50-50 shot of whether they're voting left or right. So it makes zero sense
here's
for
the
the
answer to
left
your
to be trying
question.
to push
Here's the
people
question.
in
Here's
to be
the
like,
answer to your
guys,
question.
guys, we're trying to
Here's
put
the answer.
what this guy,
Are
this
you
is what this
ready?
guy is telling me. Okay, this
Are
is what
you
this guy
ready?
is telling me. He is
Are
saying
you
that
ready?
that the Democratic Party is pushing a bunch of people into the country to vote for Donald Trump. He says that is the left's big plan, is to sneak them into voting booths to vote for Donald Trump. That's their
Who
big
said that?
goal. You are.
No.
No, that's
I'm not
exactly what you're
that.
saying.
Oh my God, that is hilarious.
That's exactly what you're saying, because you're
That is
saying that
the
immigrants are
exact opposite of
trying
what
to
I'm
get in
saying.
here to vote more Republican. That's an insane
That
thought.
is hilarious. Is this like a stand-up routine? Because honestly, that is
Sir,
freaking
I
hilarious.
would imagine that anything that has to do with data
That
or
is not
science.
what I'm saying at all.
Sir, you don't know what you're saying.
Here's
That's
what
the
I'm
problem.
telling you. I'm telling you that they're allowing illegals to come in here, and they're allowing them to vote illegally in the freaking blue states. Do you understand that?
Sir,
so that they
there
can
is.
vote
Show me one piece
for
of evidence that says that.
Democrats.
Show me one piece of evidence that
Because
says
they
that.
don't require
Sir, show me one.
identification.
Yes, they do. And show me one piece of evidence that says that.
Oh, they do?
Yes.
Which blue states require
All of them.
identification? Really?
Yes.
Okay.
Every
Are they
single
trying
one
to
of
change
them.
those laws?
No.
Yes, they are.
No, they're not.
Yes, they are. Because
Okay,
they call
show
them
me
racist.
show me a law where
They
it says
call
that.
them racist.
Sure, show me a law where it says
because
that. Sir,
people are.
sir, no, I don't want to hear you get all your emotions into it. Show me a law where they're trying to change it. That's it. Sir, unmute your microphone.
During COVID,
No, just tell me
Man.
the name of the law. I really don't want to hear about COVID. What's the name of the law,
Yeah.
and where are they pushing a law that they are trying to get rid of all IDing for voting?
well, I live in Michigan.
Cool.
And in Michigan, they're trying to prevent you from having to show ID.
Cool. What's the name of the bill? I'll pull it up.
Just search it.
Okay.
I don't know the
Gladly.
names of bills. Look for Michigan, and they're trying
how to
to
Google, sir.
allow you to vote without ID. In fact, what do you think mail-in ballots are? Do you have to show ID for a mail-in ballot?
Yes.
No. During COVID, they
Yes, you
stole
do.
so many votes from the senior citizens because they're in homes. They don't know what the fuck mail they got.
Yeah. So
They
you
took
do
their
have to.
ballots.
You do have to show an
They
ID
took
for
their
a mail-in ID.
ballots,
Have you ever voted in the mail?
And they took their ballots.
ever
and they
voted in the
voted
mail?
for Biden.
Have you
Which
ever
time?
done a mail-in vote?
No.
Okay, I have. You have to show an ID. So you're wrong. Okay, like
Why
that's
do
what
you-
I'm saying.
Okay, where do you show it?
When you register,
No, you register to vote. You get your ballot, right?
yes,
So where do you show your ID?
they
when you
match it
turn
to
your
the
ballot
ID
in?
number, also with the voter registration ID. When those two things match, you can confirm the identity of that person. It's not
Oh,
that
so they're
difficult.
taking your word for it that you're the one sending in your ballot, correct?
And if I'm not, who is?
For example,
If I'm not, who is?
Just hear me out.
No, if
For
I'm not, who
example,
is?
Oh, somebody who got your freaking ballot, unbeknownst
Yeah,
to
and
you?
then both of us voted, and then the vote doesn't count because there was
No,
two votes
They
matching the
took
same ID.
They took your ballot.
Sir, if
from
someone
the
took
mail.
my ballot from the mail, then I would know that I didn't get a ballot, and then I would get a request another ballot.
Really?
Yes.
So you're saying if you're compos mentis, you would understand that. But if
Okay.
you're in
well,
a
here's what I'm
senior
going to do is I'm just
citizens
going to go ahead and put this up.
home- if you're in a
Notice to
senior
voters.
citizens
This is from Michigan.gov. Every Michigan voter who votes in person during the election or voting on election day must comply with the requirements of showing photo ID or signing an affidavit. Voters with ID, voters can satisfy the ID requirement by showing a Michigan. Voters can satisfy the ID requirement by showing a Michigan driver's license or a Michigan personal identification. Voters who do not propose either document may show any of the following forms: photo ID, as long as it is current; driver's license or personal ID; federal, state law, local government; U.S. passport; photo ID or military ID; student ID from an educational institution; tribal photo ID. Voters without photo ID. Michigan election law anticipates that not all voters who have a photo ID, voters who do not have the acceptable photo ID or forget to bring the acceptable photo IDs, can vote like any other voter by signing the affidavit.
Okay, that's in-person voting.
Okay.
What about mail-in ballots?
I already explained to you how that worked.
Oh, you did? Yes. But let me explain to you how it's frauded. Are you ready?
No, I'm really not interested.
No, I know you're not, because you don't care about truth.
No, because unless you're going to show me something
just
that
wanna
actually
push
shows.
your
No, sir.
agenda.
Unless you're going to show me something like I just showed you,
Yeah,
that
I'm
is
gonna
going to show
you.
me that it's frauded.
Because during the 2016 election, the 2020 election, all the senior citizens were shut into their senior living homes, and they were mailed ballots, and they were taken from them, and they were sent in for Biden. Do you understand that?
Okay, sir. Do you realize that the 2016 election has been investigated by more agencies
2020 is what I'm talking
Sorry,
about.
the 2020 election. I meant to say that. That's on me. Okay. The 2020 election is the most investigated election in American history.
Of
Okay.
course.
It is the most
should
it
be.
is the most investigated election.
Because it's the
And
most
I'm still
fraudulent election
talking.
in our history.
I'm still talking.
I know. We can talk at the same
No, we can't. It is the most investigated election in our history. Okay. There was multiple investigative agencies that were paid for by the government, that were paid for by the Trump administration, that were paid by independent right-wing organizations, okay, claiming that it was false. Every single investigative agency came back and said this was one of the most secure elections in American history. There was 66 different lawsuits filed, okay, for voter loss. Not one significant finding was presented throughout the entire thing to show any sort of election integrity problems. Okay, sir? Zero. All right. Donald Trump just lost the election. I'm very, very sorry to hear that. Sorry, I figured that was coming. That's why I muted you. Sorry, the guest got kicked for election integrity issues. Wonder why that was, right? But but yeah. Sorry, man. I'm sorry that you have a problem, that your little orange Jesus didn't, win the election, but he lost, okay? I'm sorry to let you know that. All right, bud? Hey, TikTok doesn't like that shit, man. They kick people forward all the time. No, man, thank you so much for the $25 PayPal. I really appreciate that. It said, I thought you deserved a medal earlier. How do you do it without screaming?
Hello?
Lots of practice. Hi, guest. You can stand by for 1 second, all right? Yeah, thank you so much. I try not to scream too loud. I do that in my pillow later after the live. And Phil, thank you so much for the $1 Venmo. Said they also apply forensics to analyze signatures and things like that. Yes, there are like 8 different ways that they match your identity to confirm your identity when doing mail-in ballots. Okay, there is a ton of them. Again, it is very, very secure. Dorothy, thank you so much for the subscription. It's so secure so much that when Donald Trump ran again in 2024, they had to move their rhetoric because they told everybody to stop doing mail-in ballots because they were wrong, and they had to switch their rhetoric, all right, to go ahead and do mail-in ballots. They're super secure, okay, because they realized they were going to lose the election again if they didn't. So, really weird. Anyways, y'all, let's get this thing up to on TikTok side. Make sure let's get this thing up to 100,000 likes. I really appreciate that. And on the YouTube side, please like and subscribe the channel. I really appreciate y'all. That does help to push out the live and help me to get this YouTube side of things set up. So I really appreciate that. Also, if you'd like to support the live, I do have Cash App, Venmo, PayPal. They're all at Polypolitics. So if you'd like to subscribe or like to donate, it really goes a long way to helping me keep doing this every single day. So I really appreciate it. Thank you so much. All right. Hello, guest. How are you?
How's it going, man?
It's going well. Did you vote for Trump?
I did.
Awesome. Do you still support him?
What was that?
Do you still support him?
Oh, of course. I mean, he's exceeded my expectations.
All right. You must have had very low expectations.
How's it going? I guess I was gonna stay on topic. I was gonna talk about immigration since you and your last guest were talking about the same thing. So
Sure, why not?
yeah, I was gonna keep it on topic. Well, why not? I joined kind of late. I heard you. I think say that Trump maybe didn't do anything for our border, or maybe there was there was never a problem under Biden or something.
Oh no, there was definitely a problem under Biden.
Okay.
There's also a
okay.
problem under Trump. There's a problem
Okay.
right now. Yeah, there's a problem
What's
under
the problem? What's the
Obama.
problem now? What's the problem now?
The problem right now is that that the Trump administration is violating the Constitution to try to scare people away from crossing the border.
And how's that?
He's violating the Constitution.
No, I know, but in what way? Is
He's
doing that?
deporting American citizens.
America. Are you talking about Kilmore Obrego? Garcia?
No, he was not an American citizen.
Okay, so which case are you talking about?
The 2-year-old that was just deported. There was a 4 and a 7-year-old also deported.
Are they getting deported with their family?
They're getting deported with one of their parents, even though the other one is an American citizen. Well, at least for the 2-year-old.
You're saying the parent's an American citizen.
The father for the 2-year-old was an American citizen. The mother was not. The mother was doing her yearly check-in as required under her legal immigration laws. Okay. And she took her kid to the check-in. And when she took the kid to the check-in, they deported both of them. Even though the father showed up and tried to take the 2-year-old from the mother, they wouldn't allow him to and threatened to deport him also if he didn't leave. They tried to as soon as the courts opened up to protest it, to be able to have a father be able to keep the 2-year-old with him. And the Trump administration made sure to deport them before the courts were open.
Oh, I actually haven't heard about this case. I'll make sure to look into it. But if I had the understanding that the mom was an illegal and the kid happened to be born with her, do you believe in birthright citizenship?
Do I believe in what the Constitution says? Yes.
But I don't think the verbiage is exactly meant to be birthright citizenship for people who came in illegally.
Pretty clear, yeah.
For people who came in illegally, no.
It doesn't matter. It does not. It says, what does the Constitution say?
It says for people who are born here, yes.
All persons born in the United States. No,
naturalized.
Born.
Yeah. And or naturalized.
Yes, but if you are born in the United States, you are an American citizen. It is very, 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 very clear about that, and upheld, I believe, 4 other times by the Supreme Court. Okay? We can talk about naturalization. That's a whole different conversation. But if you're born here, it does not matter where your parents are from, whether your parents are here legally, whether your parents are here on a green card, or whether they're asylum seekers, or whether X, Y, Z, whatever. Your parents could be from Mars as far as the Constitution is concerned. If you are born on United States soil, you are an American citizen. Period, point blank.
So you think the Founding Fathers accounted for people being illegal here and then having kids?
I don't think the Founding Fathers anticipated AR-15s or that black people would ever be free, okay? But that's what the Constitution says, and that's what we go off of.
So that's your argument, that the Founding Fathers didn't expect a lot of things to happen.
They didn't. The Constitution should have been rewritten a long time ago. But since we're living under it, that's the law of the land, and the President of the United States is supposed to freaking abide by the Constitution. He takes an oath to the Constitution, actually.
So would you agree, like, if I went on a plane right now and into a foreign country and my wife was pregnant or something and she was just about to give birth, that she had a kid there, that they should be now a citizen of that country?
It depends on which country and what their laws are. I don't know every country's laws.
That's true. I understand that it's part of our Constitution, and yes, the verbiage is maybe a little bit off. I see your point, but from an ideological standpoint, do you agree with it?
Do I agree with people being born in this country being citizens? Yes,
You do.
I do.
So what if someone broke into your home uninvited? Would you be like, okay, you can stay now?
I'm sorry. What house did children break into?
No, that's okay. I'm gonna tell you like what point I'm getting at.
No,
When-
because what you're saying is, do I believe that people come here illegally should be allowed to stay here if they came here illegally and snuck across the border? Because my answer to that is no. Okay, I don't believe that. I believe that if you come here illegally and you sneak around the border, that you should be deported under American law. Okay,
I'm surprised actually. I haven't heard a Democrat make that point.
What are you talking about, dude? Obama deported more freaking people than like any other president, and
No,
freaking and
for
Biden
sure, but
deported
nowadays,
and
you don't
Biden
hear that.
deported people more than freaking Trump did.
Oh yeah, Hillary used to go on rants about deportation, but I'm saying nowadays you don't really get much of that. It's kind of almost refreshing.
Yeah, I don't have a problem with deporting people that are here illegally. I have a problem with the fact that Trump is deporting people that are here legally.
Okay, yeah, no, I see your point. I don't know too much about that case, so I can't even speak about it.
But there's tons of them. How about all these people going to El Salvador? They haven't been given due process.
Are you talking about Kilmore again?
There's been over 200 people sent to El Salvador, not just Kilmar Abrego Garcia.
Mm-hmm.
There've been over 200.
Well,
Okay.
I'm sure all of them have probably been tied to the El Salvador in some way, whether it be through gangs or just being illegal in general. Because the headlines.
Stacey, thank you so much for the subscription.
The headlines for all of the Kilmore Abrego Garcia stuff is that Maryland father, and it kind of like portrays that he was this American citizen. He wasn't El Salvadorian. It doesn't even say that he was a wife beater either. So all the headlines are just kind of portraying that he was just this regular guy from Maryland.
First of all, the wife beater thing is kind of in flux because the wife denies that any of that happened, and that she said that she wants him back and all this sort of stuff when she could easily leave him. I'm not gonna freaking go to that. But even if she was, even if he like supposedly was or whatever, like there was a direct order from the courts not to deport him to El Salvador. Period. Point blank.
Well, yeah, we see a lot of illegal immigration courts and judges now being corrupt.
There was a court order saying not to deport him to El Salvador. We do believe in laws still in this country, right?
Well, yes, but they also didn't have the knowledge that he was an MS-13 gang member, which he was.
Because there has been no proof that shows that whatsoever.
No, he's been linked to crimes with the MS-13 gang members, and he has it tatted on him. So
no, he does not have it tatted on him.
He does have it tatted on this picture. So I mean, it makes a really good case.
Are you talking about that photoshopped picture of his hand?
I mean, I guess if you want to call it photoshopped.
It's not call it photoshopped, it is. You're talking about the one with the smiley face and the skull and all that stuff?
Yes, the picture. Yes.
Yeah, that's just somebody photoshopped MS-13 over the top of it. That's not tattooed on him.
That's not true. It wasn't photoshopped.
It was 100% photoshopped.
How do you know that?
Huh? Because it was around the internet before it was photoshopped. As soon as he freaking got arrested, and they were showing that was somebody photoshopping that on there, saying that, oh, like the smiley face means an M, or the freaking like whatever it was, the skull means a 3, or whatever they were freaking doing. Mm-hmm. Yeah, someone just wrote MS-13 over the knuckles. That's all that was. That was a Photoshop. That's not a real tattoo.
It's a known thing for people to have that. Yes, I'm saying there's probably pictures out there of the same kind of thing, but at least in the one I saw, it was a real picture. Nothing was photoshopped about it.
Yes, it was. I'm sorry that you have been fooled, man. I am very sorry that you have been fooled.
Say it's Photoshop. He's been linked to crimes with other MS-13 members, and he still wasn't a citizen of the United States.
Regardless of that, he deserves due process.
What is there a due process to be?
Because you're saying that he's freaking been linked to these things. If he's been linked to these things, then it's pretty simple. He should be able to go to court, and it should be proven that he was doing these things. Why is that is American law, right?
No, yeah, it was proven.
It was not proven. Nowhere in court at any point in time has this ever been proven in a court of law, because he was denied due process.
I can't even remember which court it was.
Dude, can you see this?
Mm-hmm. What do you look?
The picture above my head.
Let's hold on. I'm trying to see it.
I know it's kind of small. I
only see Trump holding up a sign. There's a bunch of ads on my screen.
Oh shit! It might be a little high. I might be to bring that down. Sorry, let me bring
What
that
is it,
down a
though?
little bit.
Oh, there you go. Yeah.
Yeah.
Now there's a join my team thing in my face. Yeah, I see it.
Yeah, you see how all of his tattoos are like faded and like, you know, look like tattoos. They have lines like tattoos. And then the other one is literally in Arial font. Literally the MS-13 above it is written in Arial font.
I can't make it out. I can't tell.
Dude, it's written... Do you have you ever gotten a tattoo?
No, I don't have tattoos.
That's fucking wild, dude. As somebody who has tattoos, dude, the Photoshop is in Arial font. Like, it's not even trying to be legit.
Oh, so you're saying like the thing written on the like the screen, like they actually Photoshop something like the MS-13 on it?
Yes.
No, but the actual symbols of his tattoos, it means like, you know, MS-13.
Gotcha. So you're saying that anybody who freaking has a freaking 420 leaf, a smiley face, a cross, and a skull is MS-13? Because if that's the case, then about half the people I went to high school with are part of MS-13.
When it's in that certain order and they've been linked to crimes with two other people of the MS-13 gang and it's been proven, that's when you can kind of make a very good inference.
Stop.
You can make a pretty good inference.
The Supreme Court said his removal was illegal.
The Supreme Court.
The Supreme Court said that his removal was illegal.
I don't get what's so illegal about it.
Because you cannot deport somebody, first of all, to an El Salvadorian prison for being something that you have not proven that he is. Okay? If that's the case, then I can just make the claim that you're MS-13 and we can just send you to El Salvador. If I'm wrong, who cares?
Yeah, I see what you mean.
What does it fucking matter? Why are you guys so against just proving the crime, okay, that he did it? Let's be very, very clear. Let's start with the fact that, A, when he was first sent, it wasn't even MS-13. They said he was Trende Aragua, or whatever. Yeah, they said that. Then they were like, oh, wait, all the professionals for Trende Agua said, oh, they don't actually have tattoos. So then they switched it to MS-13. Okay, now they're literally saying that a smiley face and a cross and a skull, which I believe are probably like the three most freaking tattooed things on the human body in America, okay, are somehow symbols of MS-13. Okay, all of this when it could have been easily just done where they just went to court and they just proved that he was MS-13, and then he could have been deported legally. And guess what? Here's the cool thing, guys. If he went to court and it was proven that he was MS-13, I'll help you deport him myself.
I see what you mean. No, I think they definitely could have taken better measures.
No, I'll drive the car. I could not care less. Okay? I will slap the cuffs on him and put him in a car, okay, and drive him there myself. I couldn't give a shit. But guess what? The experts that have studied freaking MS-13 for their whole lives say that those aren't MS-13 tattoos. Okay, so I'm gonna need more than a few tattoos that, again, are the most probably popular tattoos in America, tattooed on someone when the experts on MS-13 say, oh yeah, that's not an MS-13 tattoo. Like it's that simple. Because I can show you, like here's a little one. Okay, here's a fun one for you. I'll put this up on the screen, okay, for you. All right. Can you see that, or is that blocked by stuff too?
Nah, yeah, I see that.
Okay. What does the back of his head say?
It's MS, and I can't make out the.
Because it's an MS-13 tattoo. You see how easy that is?
Yeah, of course.
They're not trying to speak in code, dude.
No, yeah, of course.
That dude has his whole head tattooed in it with that just says freaking MS-13. It just has it written up there. Okay? He made it real obvious. All right? We don't need it. There isn't some like this isn't like we're trying to decipher freaking, we're trying to decipher, like freaking Japanese naval codes in the Pacific to try to break their war plans. Okay? Like, this is ridiculous. They're using a literal number system to identify the freaking MS-13 members or whatever. And part of it is like, wears sports gear. You get points for just wearing sports gear. Do you own sports gear?
Yeah, I own sports
Well,
gear.
that's 2 points to being MS-13. You're only like 5 more points away and you're MS-13.
Yeah, I think my whole point is that...
Have you ever met someone? Have you ever like been on the internet and like read something on MS-13? Obviously you have. You've seen that tattoo. That's 2 more points. You're 4 points to the 7 points of being MS-13. I'm getting you real close there. You don't have tattoos, so I can't use that one yet.
Let me say what I have to say though. I understand what you're saying. I think they could have went about it in a better way, of course. But I think all the facts gathered up about it, and being that he was involved with 2 other people who were part of MS-13 and was proven, and plus in 2021 where his wife or girlfriend or whatever it was, she testified in the document that he had punched her, scratched her left eye, tore her clothes off, and grabbed the arm.
That doesn't make you MS-13.
What was that?
That doesn't have anything to do with you being MS-13.
Oh, no, I understand that. But you can't say that this guy is just an innocent person.
Then convict him in court and send him to prison and then deport him when you're done.
But a month later, after that happened, she failed to appear for another hearing. So, I mean, you can't.
And then she turned around, like, because you do realize, like, and like,
you can't make the case that it never happened. Just because she didn't show up to court doesn't mean that.
I can't make the case it never happened. You can't make the case that it did happen.
But yeah, since she didn't appear for the hearing, that automatically means that like no due process was made. The case is completely dropped, all because she didn't,
Yeah, and there are tons of reasons why women don't show up to court hearings for domestic abuse. It's very, very sad, and there's a lot of reasons why that happens.
Yeah.
Okay, but here's the thing. Okay, and I'm not saying that this couldn't be wrong or whatever, but right now she is rid of him.
What was that?
She is rid of him. He's gone.
Yeah.
Right? She is no longer in fear of him.
Yeah.
She is no longer in danger from him.
Mm-hmm.
And she's begging for him back.
Yeah, weird stuff.
It's not weird.
How is that not weird?
It's the fact that you're going back to something from 2017 when right now she is saying that she like that was an overreaction on her. She should have never done called the police.
It was in 2021.
Whatever year it was, it doesn't really matter. She is the one saying that never should have happened and she never should have called the police and all that sort of stuff, right? So I'm going to listen to her right now and I'm going to say if she wants him back, she should have him back. Not to mention they have a child together and I would say that I don't know if you're a father or not, but I am, and I know if somebody was being abusive around my kid, I would definitely be glad that they were fucking removed.
And
but
so
she's not. If they were freaking beating up people in front of my kid, yeah, I would want them gone.
No, but I'm saying
I wouldn't want them back.
Your whole thing, you're saying it's not weird. It's not weird about the whole thing, even though she wants him back and all this. So I'm saying, how is that not weird since he was beating her?
Again, that was not proven in court, and she's saying it didn't happen.
Well, she did say it happened.
And then she said it didn't.
Well, you can make an inference of why any of that happened.
I can make an inference for both sides, which is why I'm saying that you can't prove it happened just as much as I can't prove it didn't happen.
That's fair.
Yeah. So therefore, and since you can't prove it happened and I can't prove it didn't happen, it is a moot point in this conversation.
Yeah. She had a lot of marks and bruises, but again, I guess you really can't prove it was him that did it, but it would make a really good case. But yeah, I guess it was never proven.
So regardless of any of that, if he has due process in the United States, just like everybody else, just like the freaking hairdresser and makeup artist that freaking got deported for being MS-13. I don't know that much about MS-13, but I have watched Gangland a lot, and I don't see a lot of freaking makeup artists and hairstylists, that have mom and dad tattoos on them being gang members. But that's just me. What do I know? I'm not an expert. But that's just me. Kilmar Abreu Garcia is not the crux of this whole thing. I think that's the thing that people are like kind of messing up on. There have been hundreds of people who have been deported without due process, without any proof that they belong to any type of gang. Okay, that they belong to anybody. And all I'm asking, and all the left is asking, I'm pretty sure I can speak for the left that when I say this, okay, he just deserves his day in court.
Yeah, no, I agree.
If he goes to court and he's proven guilty, then nobody cares. Nobody gives a shit.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter.
No,
the entire problem is that people are just being randomly accused of crimes or gang affiliation and then being shipped off to a prison.
It's not random. It's not random.
It is random. I'm sorry.
No, it's not
I'm sorry.
random.
You also have to be brown. I apologize. I don't think they've sent any freaking white people to the El Salvadorian prison. You're right. So it's not completely random. It starts with brown people, and if you speak Spanish, even worse.
You usually get sent back to your country of origin, so that would make sense why El Salvadorians are being sent to El Salvador.
No, actually, primarily Venezuelans are being sent to El Salvador.
And they have one of the best prisons in El Salvador. They clean everything up. And Venezuela.
Sir, where is MS-13 from?
MS-13, I think Mexico, El Salvador and Mexico mix.
It's a Venezuelan gang, bro.
Isn't that Tren de Agua?
They're both Venezuelan gangs.
Oh, they're both Venezuelan. Well, they let everyone out. They breach into America.
Yeah,
that's why you can't really hold them in Venezuela. El Salvador has one of the best prisons.
Yeah. But you're saying you send them back to a country of origin, and then you're telling me that we're sending them back not from a country of origin.
Well, yeah, a lot of them are from El Salvador, but I mean, it's really not the most relevant thing. But no, my whole point was that it's not really random. These people have, had some big stories behind it. I mean, I do believe that he was a woman beater. I don't think she would come out.
I don't care. I'm tired of talking about that.
All right, so can we talk about maybe the Democrat side of breaking the rules of the Constitution with the...
Sure, let's do it.
Breaking the rule of the First Amendment during the Hunter Biden laptop situation with Twitter and everything. I mean,
the Hunter Biden laptop?
Well,
I'm sorry. Sorry, I was confusing them. MS-13 is El Salvadorian. That's my fault. But regardless, that's my fault. I misspoke. Tren de Agua is Venezuelan. That's on me.
It's not really relevant. It's whatever.
I'm sick today, guys. Give me a break.
Yeah, but when did you say that's in an impediment of the First Amendment?
What is?
Well, when the whole 2020 election was going on and you try to talk about the Hunter Biden laptop situation, you try to tweet about it, they would take everything down. I feel like that's a impediment on the First Amendment.
That's a private organization. You don't have the right to your First Amendment rights for the private organization. You have the right to First Amendment rights under the Constitution for the government.
Well, it was Democrats kind of doing that, obviously.
Democrats don't have the ability to do things with the private organizations. They can request things.
No, obviously it wasn't,
Real quick, DJ, thank you so much for the $10 Venmo. I really appreciate that. Thank you, Paulie. I'd like to ask MAGA to honestly ask themselves how come every grievance they have... Oh, my goodness. It went away. Comes from someone else telling them they have to have it, hating something because someone told them to, not looking to see how those that told them to hate benefit from it and not them. Yeah, that's W's in the chat for DJ for that comment. That is absolutely perfect. And Claire, thank you so much for the $10 Cash App. Just said love you. Love you too, Claire. Thank you so much. W's in the chat for DJ. That was an amazing comment. Perfect. Yeah. So, anyways, what do I? First of all, can I ask you like a serious question?
Yeah. What's up?
Yeah. Why in the flying fuck do I give a shit about Hunter Biden?
I don't know. I don't think you should. It's just the whole laptop situation. It was kind of being suppressed when the whole election was going around, and then there was a study or a poll going around that if people would have known about the Hunter Biden laptop at the time, they would have changed their vote. So it's kind of like,
that is sad.
Yeah, no, for sure.
That is really sad. That somebody who has no position in our government, has never held a political office, okay, people would not vote for or would pick their political candidate because of somebody who does not fucking matter. I could give two fucks about Hunter Biden. You can put him under the prison. I couldn't give a shit.
I mean, don't tell me. It's everyone else. Don't tell me.
I don't care. You know what I was so excited about? There was one thing I was excited about when I was debating, and I was thinking about things to debate after the election and how I was going to, kind of work my live. And the first thing I thought about, I was on this live and I was like, what's going to be the best part about this live? I never have to hear the name Hunter Biden again. And yet somehow about once every 2 weeks, he gets brought back up. It's amazing. It's amazing. Like Joe Biden's not president. Fucking Hunter Biden is off doing whatever the fuck he was doing before I don't know or care. Okay, he's off doing what? Dude, he's probably off freaking snorting something off some freaking somebody's booty or something. I could not give a shit less. I could not care less what Hunter Biden was doing, is doing, or is doing in the future.
Yeah. So, it's not really about Hunter Biden in particular. It's discussing whatever he had on that laptop. What was on
the laptop?
I was unfortunate enough to even see the disgusting stuff that was on it. But the whole point is that the left tried to suppress freedom of speech when trying to talk about it, and it kind of took away from some voters' votes. And I think that's a big violation of the freedom of speech.
Donald Trump literally just had a court order against him saying he violated the First Amendment.
What did he do this time?
Last week. What are you talking about? I can put up the court order if you really need me to.
Sure, I'm curious what you're talking about. He's been suing a lot for misinformation on the news media, the legacy news.
A federal judge ordered the White House on April 8th to restore the Associated Press full access to cover presidential events, affirming on First Amendment grounds that the government cannot punish the news organization for the content of its speech.
The news organization and the content of their speech?
Yes, Donald Trump didn't like the fact that AP News wasn't calling it Gulf of America, so he kicked him out.
That's pretty funny.
And the judge ruled that was a violation of the First Amendment.
Is it that specific one, or is it the one where they were showing a Kamala Harris speech and they kind of edited it to make it more favorable?
Nope, it's the one where they just didn't like the Gulf. I can put it on the screen. It's not a big deal to me. Not a big deal to me, man. A federal judge ordered the White House on April 8th to restore the Associated Press full access to presidential events, affirming on First Amendment grounds that the government cannot punish the news organization for the content of its... I'm about to lose this freaking account over here. Hold on. There you go. Sorry, it's probably a little hard to read way up there, but that's okay. We'll go down to the second paragraph because I already read that part. U.S. District Judge Trevor N. McFadden, an appointee of President Donald Trump, ruled that the government cannot retaliate against the AP's decision not to follow the president's executive order to rename the Gulf of Mexico. The decision, while a preliminary injunction, handed the AP a major victory at a time the White House has been challenging the press on several levels.
So which part is the part that he's impeding on free speech?
Sir, right here. A federal judge ordered the White House on April 8th to restore their access, affirming on First Amendment grounds that the government cannot punish the news organization.
Oh, so he tried and it didn't work.
No, he did it, and the freaking court is saying he has to stop doing it.
I see what you mean. Okay. Yeah, I thought the whole point you were going to try to bring up was the whole Harvard University case.
I could probably bring up 20 different instances of him freaking trying to violate the First Amendment.
How do you feel about the Harvard University case?
What about it?
I'm just saying your opinion on it.
Yeah, which part of it?
I don't know. People saying it's impeding on free speech because people can't support Hamas or something. They can't talk about it.
Yeah, I don't think protesting for the stopping of a genocide against the Palestinian people is supporting Hamas.
So you think it's a genocide then?
Oh, I know it's that.
How do you know it's that?
More, I guess, an ethnic cleansing would be
An ethnic cleansing.
would be an even better way to put it. Yeah.
They don't think Israel right now could just kill the whole population if they wanted to,
Without ending up in freaking like international freaking bad boy court. Probably not.
so you don't think they could? I'm telling you,
They
could
would
with
go to
the army.
court and they would lose, and then they would be the freaking most sanctioned country on the planet. So no.
So is it also genocide if you have not even a real militia group that has their underground base under a hospital, and if you happen to kill some children or women in the process of it in collateral damage, that's all of a sudden a genocide when you're just hiding behind.
That is just a singular, really shitty act. When that's done over and 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 over with hundreds of thousands of people, then yes, that's a G-side. Okay? When it happens when it happens once, you're just a real bad person. When it happens 100 times, then you're committing a G-side.
Well, how are they supposed to fight the war? Hamas is not
You gotta work around that.
How do you work around? Hamas is not a real military. They don't wear.
You gotta.
They don't wear specific
Neither
stuff.
was
They're civilians.
Neither was the freaking Taliban. Neither was Al Qaeda. We didn't just go bombing freaking civilian targets because they might be around there.
No, they're hiding behind them. That's the problem.
They were doing that in Afghanistan.
These people are also civilians.
They were doing that in Afghanistan. They did that in Vietnam. They did that in Iraq.
It's a real problem, and none of those were genocides.
Because we worked around it.
And what's happening now? Everyone's being killed off. All of a sudden, now it's a genocide?
Dude, are you stupid? Are you not hearing what I'm saying? Do you not understand? Do you not understand the difference between hospital full of people, couple Hamas people below? We sent frickin' Rangers and frickin' Navy SEALs in and worked around it. Okay? Israel blows up the whole hospital. You can't see the difference between that?
I see the difference. They have their checks and balances.
Do you remember when we unalived Osama bin Laden?
I do remember.
Oh, was it with a bomb or did we send in SEAL Team 6?
No, we sent them in.
Okay, what about freaking Baghdadi?
At least we knew our target, though.
What about Baghdadi?
But I'm saying at that point,
what about Baghdadi?
Yes, we sent people in.
Yeah, we didn't just drop a bomb on the whole place, right?
Well, we knew who our target was.
And I was corrected. Yeah, Vietnam, we kind of just napalmed the whole place. That was a really bad thing. So I meant to say, I don't know why I meant to say the first Gulf War, and I said Vietnam. That was on me. I think I read it. My bad, Riz.
When you're dealing with Hamas, you don't actually know your target. These people are hiding behind other people, and they look like regular civilians. It's not. It's really a war crime, if you ask me. That you get to just hide as if you're a civilian.
Dude,
and you get to
if you don't have the ability to comprehend what I'm telling you, that Al Qaeda did the same thing, and we did not just bomb it.
That's understandable. That's understandable. Israel's not us. They have their own checks and balances.
Right.
But it's not. They're not.
And guess what? In America, we have this cool thing called the First Amendment. Okay. And in America, if you don't like what Israel is doing, you have the right to peacefully protest. Okay? And stopping that right to peacefully protest is against the First Amendment.
That's fair. That's fair. But Jews at Harvard are being spat on, and
And I don't agree with that either. I think that that's horrible.
So they shouldn't.
And it should be stopped. But that doesn't mean, yes, you should stop the people that are doing the spitting.
Yeah.
And then you should also allow peaceful protests.
Peaceful
it's
protests,
not that
yes.
hard.
But peaceful protests are not happening.
A peaceful protest was happening in many, many different places.
No, not in Harvard.
Yes, there was peaceful protesters at Harvard. There was plenty of them.
If you go 5 minutes without spitting on someone or committing hate speech, I'm sure that you could classify that as peaceful.
All right. Well, now you're just saying it like everybody was just there spitting on people, and that's not what happened.
Well, no, you act like everything is just so fine.
I actually didn't. I said the people that are freaking doing the things like spitting on people should actually be arrested.
Well, how do you narrow it down?
The law.
How do you? I don't think you understand what I'm saying.
That's pretty simple. The law.
These people can't. these people can't be like convicted of this stuff. It's happening on campus under a
Well,
private
I mean,
organization.
dude, like
So
as
wouldn't
far,
it be
as far as I see, like freaking Timothy McVeigh, bombed a Oklahoma City federal building, and I mean, you kind of fit the demographics of him. You could have helped him. How do I narrow it down? How could I possibly figure out whether you're the next, Oklahoma City, boom boomer or not? Like, how could we know? I don't know how we could possibly find a way to narrow it down to find out whether we should just arrest you right now and just, there's no way for us to figure that out. There's guys, we just have to throw our hands up. I guess Fitness just has to be arrested and we have to send him to, wherever, maybe Guantanamo or something like that. Like, how can we figure that out, right?
maybe the peaceful protests in quotations, I say peaceful, that lead to so much destruction on campus does not be a thing anymore.
What?
The peaceful protests, so-called peaceful protests that are leading to the destruction on the Harvard campus, should just not be a thing anymore, since they're going to lead to so many bad things.
Gotcha. So you brought up this argument because you didn't like that apparently the left was inhibiting free speech, and we've gotten all the way around to you saying we should freaking inhibit people's free speech. That's a pretty good pip. That's pretty good, guys. I don't know if I've ever worked someone that bad in a conversation where we started out as them getting mad about somebody blocking free speech and got all the way back to them advocating for free speech. That's pretty impressive, guys. Can I get a bunch of freaking W's in the chat for like how impressive that was? Because like that's a full cycle that we got everybody all the way to it. That's cute. That's pretty good.
That's cute. I don't think you're accepting what I'm trying to say. There's exceptions to the First Amendment, hate speech and violence. There's exceptions and stuff like that. You can really say whatever you want, but if you're going to commit hate speech, what does that have to do with anything?
Prove that they weren't peaceful protesting. You know how like they freaking like the January 6th protesters, how some of them people were just, not given any criminal charges, whatever. Some were given misdemeanors and then some were given felonies. Remember that? Yeah. We could have just done your theory and go, well, it led to violence, so let's just round them all up.
So why don't you just look at the Jews at Harvard University who are experiencing this stuff and get it from them?
They could be witnesses at the trial. I have no problem with that.
Well, that's the whole point.
No, the whole point is that's due process.
Okay.
Going against people that are violent. And what Trump is doing is taking peaceful protesters and trying to silence them. That is a difference.
They can go through due process, but after the whole thing is done,
Donald Trump's not giving them due process.
It's been about a week or so.
And
I mean, you'll probably get to that point where he'll go give him the whole due process situation, where you have to get to.
You're stumbling a lot in your words right now, man. You need a second to take a breath.
No, I'm all right.
All right. It sounds like you're having a hard time getting a fluid thought out of what's going on here.
I'm just trying to remember everything in my thoughts. I'm not like too good on the memory right now. I'm just trying to remember all my thoughts so I don't sound stupid when I'm trying to talk. I'm just saying, if these things just happen, these Jewish people at the campus are just coming out now and saying their anecdotes of testifying what happened.
Dude, listen, stop going back to that. I already said if they were committing violent acts, they should be arrested. They should go to jail. I do not in any way
they're not
advocate. I do not in any way advocate for violence in these protests.
But they're not being arrested, though.
Just because, whether they've been arrested or not, just because of that does not mean that we have the right to inhibit people's free speech. Okay? They have the right to peacefully protest. If it goes out of the way and people aren't peacefully protesting, then the violent ones should be wrapped up and they should be sent to jail. Okay? But that doesn't mean that we should stop all free speech when it comes to something just because the president doesn't like it. That is wrong.
Yeah, that's true. But they're not being arrested, though.
Then get mad at the Massachusetts fucking state freaking police or whoever is at those protests. Thank you so much, Edward, for the level up sparks. Get mad at whoever the police are that are at these freaking protests that are supposed to be arresting those people.
Yeah, I guess there's different ways to go about it.
But by the way, there was lots of people that were arrested, so you're wrong.
There were, but not nearly enough.
You don't know that.
I guess.
Were you there?
I guess. I was not. Were you?
Nope. So you don't.
Okay.
Neither of us know whether it was enough or not. So don't try to make a claim like you know that.
Well, you brought it up first.
No, you're the one who said it wasn't enough. I never made that claim.
Well, you said a lot of people got arrested. I mean, how do you know?
Which they did.
You know enough people got arrested?
That was the entire point of my argument, was that neither of us know if it was enough people.
All right, whatever it is. I think there's different ways to go about it. I would just stop the whole protest altogether, since it doesn't really lead to any good things.
All right. Well, that sounds fun.
Supporting
Anyways,
a
I am
terrorist
very
group
bored
in the first place. Obviously,
talking to
doesn't
you.
lead to good things.
I'm very bored talking to you because now we're just going in circles, and that bores me. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and let you go. I'm going to move on to another guest, see if I can have a different conversation. All right.
Appreciate you having me on, man.
Yeah. Have a good one, man.
You too.
That was crazy. That was like a full circle conversation. I was very impressed by that. We somehow got all the way from like, oh, the left is the worst for violating free speech, all the way back to we shouldn't have free speech anymore. I don't know how we did that. I don't know how we did that. Y'all, there are almost 1,000 people in here. We can easily get this thing up to 200,000 likes on the TikTok side. I really appreciate that. If you guys double tap that screen, I really appreciate that. On the YouTube side, if you guys could just like and subscribe to the live, I really, really appreciate that. That would mean a lot to me as I try to build up over there on the YouTube side. And thank you guys so much for being there. That really means a lot to me. So I really appreciate that. You guys are absolutely awesome. Also, if you would like to support my live, I do have Cash App, Venmo, PayPal. They're all at Polypolitics, just like what's written in my name. And it's also in my bio and my link tree. So if you'd like to support, that is a great way to do it. I do have like just over 100 left on my live goal. I'd really like to work on hitting that today. So if you guys can donate and it's in your ability to do so, I'd really appreciate it. And if not, please don't. We don't want anybody, donating that they can't. So I don't want to be taking food off anybody's table or anything. So please, if you can, I really appreciate it. If you can't, that's also awesome. I really appreciate you guys just being here and supporting the live. So thank you. Amber, thank you so much for the subscription. And we are in a subwave over on TikTok, so we need 5 more subscriptions in the next 15 minutes. So if you guys would like to hook that up, I'd really appreciate that. All right, guest, how are you today?
Doing wonderful on this fine evening. How are you?
I'm doing good. Did you vote for Trump?
Yes, I did. The best choice. Number one choice.
The number one choice. Okay, why is that?
Well, look at what we're doing. The tariffs. The tariffs, they're bringing the economy back to the United States. They're bringing tremendous amounts of money to the United States. We're making America great. Manufacturing is coming back. Jobs are coming back. The economy is growing. I love it.
All right, so how is it bringing money to America?
Because China has to,
This guest is satire. Oh, I don't have time for that. I don't have time for that. I actually block whoever that was. Not Verna Lee. Thank you so much for the 5 gifted subs. I really appreciate that. Sorry, somebody was calling in. I had to exit because I already had a guest up. But if you were just calling in and you're still here, go ahead and call in right now. I'll actually wait for you for like 30 seconds before I bring up another guest. So I really appreciate that. So just start. Sorry, I'm talking to somebody else real quick. Without the ice, no, that is way too much. All right. Anyways, sorry about that, y'all. I had to answer a question real quick. Oh, of course. The second that I do it. All right. We're going to go to the phones real quick. Hello?
Oh, sorry, Polly. I didn't mean to tap in.
No worries, man. You have a good one. Sorry. Whoever called in. Hello?
Hello?
Hi, how are you?
I'm doing great, man. What's going on?
Oh, I'm just having... Actually, I'm a little sick today, to be completely honest with you. I'm not feeling the 100% best, but I'm surviving it.
All right, cool, man. I'm glad to hear. Is this the live show?
It is. You are on. You are on in front of about just about 900 people. So yeah, everyone can hear you. Did you vote for Trump?
I did vote for Trump.
Awesome. Do you still support him?
I do.
Awesome. Do you have a name I can call you by? It doesn't have to be yours. Just something you'll respond to.
Yeah, you can call me Casper.
Casper works. All right, Casper. Why do you support Trump? Not Vernon Lee. Thank you so much for clearing out that subway. I really appreciate you.
Well, to clarify on a bigger point, it's not so much that I support Trump, it's so much that I support the Democratic Party versus the Democratic Party.
I'm sorry. Did you say you support the Democratic Party against the Democratic Party?
No. So I said I don't support so much as Trump. I support more of the Republican Party versus the Democratic Party.
Okay, I think you had a little Freudian slip there, but I got what you're saying. It's okay. All right. So, what do you support on the Republican Party that makes you really want to vote for Trump?
Well, I can tell you what I don't like on the Democratic side, and then I'll tell you what I like about the Republican side. Is that fair?
I mean, I'd like honestly, if your main thing is what you dislike about another party, that's kind of weird because that shouldn't mean that you are forced to vote for the Republican Party.
Well, it's not weird at all. It actually points to a very positive reason of why people should be supporting the Republican Party over the Democratic Party.
I mean, there's tons of things I don't like about the Democratic Party.
There's things I don't like about each party.
Yeah.
But there's some things that far outweigh other things. For example, let me ask you a question. Do you support the Democratic Party, correct? Or do you support the Republican Party?
Neither.
Okay. Were you
Holy
in favor
shit. Can y'all hear that? Could you hear that?
I did hear a little something. It sounded like
oh my God. That was thunder. Oh my goodness.
Thunder.
Wow, that was loud. That scared the shit out of me. Sorry.
That's all right. Well, I hope you're staying safe and you don't get struck by the thunder, and we can still,
I'll
stay
be fine
connected
inside.
here.
That was loud, wasn't it?
Excellent.
Yeah.
Excellent.
All right. Sorry.
Excellent.
Continue. I'm sorry. That really did scare the shit out of me.
So going back to, I'm going to briefly touch on this, and then we can move on to something a little bit more substantiated. So the previous gentleman was talking about how the New Politics and some of these groups were, demonstrating or protesting, and he was focused on the violent aspect of it, correct?
Correct.
Okay.
Well, he was actually more focused on he wasn't really focused on the violent thing. He kind of got there. But the focus was on the freedom of speech.
Okay. Well, freedom of speech is always a good thing. We should always have the right to be able to express how we feel. But let's go to some of the more extreme kind of takes and personalities involved with that. One, you have, the Proud Boy, movement. The other side of it, you have the Antifa group that, is kind of there and, doing what they're doing. What's your take on these specific groups?
Well, I mean, those are two very different groups. Well, it's not even really two different groups, right? One's a group, one's not. The Proud Boys are a group of people with an ideology, with a leader, with a stance, with all of those sort of things.
Well, both were sponsored, though, right? Both were sponsored.
Well, not particularly. Antifa's just a movement, right? There's no leader of the.
Oh, it wasn't. They weren't sponsored. Oh,
I didn't say that.
And the proof that they were sponsored.
I didn't say that. I didn't say that.
You said they weren't sponsored.
No, I didn't. No, I didn't.
Repeat what you said,
sir. I'm in the middle of my sentence. I never even got to finish saying what I was saying.
Okay. Continue.
What I said is that Antifa doesn't have a leader. It doesn't have group meetings. Okay. There is no meetup for Antifa. Okay. So when we're talking about things that Antifa is just a movement, it's not a group.
Well, hold on. If any group of people organize and structure events, that would seem to indicate that they were a group, correct? Especially if you have online forums and dark chats that these people are communicating these events by.
That doesn't make you a group.
That still makes you a movement.
That still makes you a movement. Was when January 6th happened, and you had everything from the Proud Boys to just normal, everyday citizens that were just coming there for to hear a speech, right? We think we had all the most extremes, and then we had everything in between. Yeah. Does that make that now? Hold on. Does that make that now a group, or is that just a singular movement? Even though they all talked about it online.
You can designate it as a movement or a group. The difference is marginal at best. A movement first starts as a group, It is. A
No, it's
movement
not.
first starts as a group of people. That's the original starting point of any movement, is a group of people getting together, sharing ideals.
Okay. Well, when
Okay?
you let me
That's
know
the
who the
literal definition.
leader, when you let me know who the leader
So,
of Antifa is and show me their website,
well,
then I
I
will be
can let
more
you
than
know.
happy
I
to
can let
call
you
it a
know
group.
who sponsored and who funded Antifa. Would you like to know who it was? And this documented proof. It's not false. It's not
All
fact.
right. Where's
I
the
don't want you to take the
documentation?
truth away from the matter. Oh, yeah, it's simple. Just like you've been telling other people, you can simply find it on Google.
All right.
If
I'll
you do
Google
a
it.
couple
Let's see.
little
What am I
keywords.
Googling?
Democratic sponsorship of Antifa. That's point number one.
Okay.
Point number two is, do you agree or disagree that systemic racism is real in this current 2025 United States?
Hold on. I'm still in this other
Topic
one.
number three that we're going to talk about is, do you agree with the
What the
Democratic pushing a woke agenda, especially on American children, going through the school system, indoctrinating our children at the ages of
Yeah. Hold on. We're still on the
7,
last
8,
part. Okay.
9, 10?
We're still on the last part. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and put this
I'll
up
give
here.
you some time to catch up.
No, you told me to Google it, and so I'm Googling it. The claim that Democrats sponsor Antifa is a misconception and has been debunked. Antifa is a decentralized far-left movement with a diverse range of beliefs, including anti-capitalism and opposition to government. While some Antifa activists are on the left, the movement is not affiliated with the Democratic Party, President Biden, or its leaders.
It's not. So they didn't receive millions of dollars from Democratic sponsorships and parties that are well known to support the Democratic Party. Those receipts don't exist.
Well, sir, you didn't make that claim. You made a claim that the Democratic Party is sponsoring Antifa. You told me to Google it, and the Google says that you're wrong.
What source of Google are you Googling?
Sir,
the fake news is absolutely crazy.
Sir, here's
because
the
in
cool
Congress
thing.
and the actual court system, we actually have proven that they were sponsored with actual receipts of movements of funds that were actually appropriated.
Okay. Sir, this is why I asked you for a source. I specifically asked you, I said, sir, where can I find these receipts? Where can I find this information where it's sponsored? Okay. You did not give me a receipt.
Congress.
Hold on.
Not Google.
I'm still
and fake
talking.
news.
I'm still talking. I asked you to give me a receipt. You did not give me a receipt. Okay. You told me to Google it. I Googled it. And when I Googled it, it showed you that you were wrong. Okay.
All right, perfect. So let's try this.
If you want to give me a sponsor,
instead of having to go to Google, instead of having to go to Google and research things that you aren't aware of, let's talk about things you're currently aware of without having to use Google.
Sir, it's not a matter of being aware. Okay, I know 100%. I know 100%.
So we can have opinions and facts based on nonsense and
sir, are you upset
nothing
or
on
something?
paper, nothing concrete. I'm upset about false information and the false information that you.
Well, see, here's the thing, sir. I'm not confused on anything, and I don't need to Google anything.
It seems that you are, because you need to refer to Google about facts that have been.
Sir, how old are you?
I'm 40. I'm 40 years of age.
When are you going to start acting like it?
Oh, I act very much like it.
Okay, cool.
See, the reason
I am in the middle of a sentence, and you keep. All right, I can just.
Great. What you're trying to do is you're trying to talk over people and to stop it.
Okay. This is ridiculous, sir. Okay? Act like you've been here before. All right? I don't need to Google. Oh, he ran. He left. I don't need to Google the information that you're saying because I know it's a bold-faced fucking lie. Okay? I Googled it to let you prove me wrong. You failed to do that. Okay? I was giving you the opportunity to prove me wrong. Okay? I'm sorry that you don't have the ability to do that. I didn't kick him. He hung up the phone. Apparently, he didn't like that. Okay? That's not my problem. He can call back right now. Doesn't bother me. He's the one who left. Watch here. I'll even call him back. That's how much I don't care that he's up here. I'll call him back.
You're back. Excellent. I don't want you to run away this time.
I didn't run away, sir. You hung up the phone.
All right.
And
Let's
now
move
you
on to
sound
topic.
and now you sound like you're talking from inside an aquarium, and I don't like it.
Well, I'm actually on a boat right now. Game or something.
All right. Well, go back to wherever you were before, because this sounds horrible.
Oh, are you gonna hang up? Are you gonna admit defeat?
If I have to listen to this background noise, yes.
You're gonna admit defeat. Okay. So a little background noise is gonna stop us from having.
Yes, it is. Because we are talking in front of 1,000 people, and nobody wants to help hear you fucking build an entire fucking IKEA shelf while you're doing it. Okay? Can't even hear half the words you were fucking saying. Death? Thank you so much. Death apparently sent me $5. I don't know if I should be scared or not, but thank you so much, the Cash App. Or I don't know who just left. That's fine. I hope Casper's drywall is okay. Me too. Me too. I hope it's okay. Thank you so much. I am a little scared, but thank you so much. All right. Y'all, for the well over 1,000 people that are up on TikTok right now. Y'all, can we get we're still working on that 200,000 likes, so I'd really appreciate it if you guys could keep double tapping that screen and get that up there. For everyone on YouTube, please like and subscribe. I really appreciate that. Thank you. For the people on YouTube, I don't know how many of you guys are over there, probably like 40. Yeah, 1 second, guess. For the people that are like the 40 people or whatever they're on YouTube, because I'm starting out over there, please hit that like and subscribe button. I really appreciate that. Thank you so much. All right, hello?
Yep.
All right. Oh, are you back?
I'm back.
All right, cool.
Is this better? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you just fine now.
All right, excellent.
Yeah.
Sorry for the wind. It's a little windy out here.
Yeah, no problem.
Right.
I just can't hear you, and it's not very entertaining for people
So
to
if
listen
you
to your
actually
background
want-
noise. Sir, again,
If you actually want the truth of what you're asking me, don't go to Google. Actually go to the government website and download the actual documents and the teleprompting
Sir, can you hear
of
me?
what actually happened. Yeah, I can hear you.
That's what I asked you for. You're the one who told me to
Yeah,
Google.
you can actually go to the government website and you
sir,
can take a look
sir,
at these
sir,
documents.
sir.
They're there, they're
You
posted.
told me to Google, not the other way around. I did not choose to Google something. You told me Google it. I
Let's
asked
not
you
use
for
Google.
a source.
I'll correct
okay?
myself on that. Let's not correct Google.
All right, awesome.
But let's
So
use
tell
the
me where I
actual
can
tools
find it.
that we have at our fingertips.
Now tell me where I can find it. I'll pull it up right now.
I can actually provide you a link with it later. I'm not going to be able to tell you on a cell phone during a call. You know what I mean?
Okay.
But this is a very valued point of what I'm trying to adhere. You make a claim that let me not jump the gun. Do you make a claim that the Republican Party is destroying America, or do you make a claim specifically that Trump himself is destroying America?
Trump.
Okay. What is the most prevalent
Uh-oh,
reason
it's getting really loud
that
again.
you believe
It's
Trump
getting hard to
is-
hear you again.
All right, is that a little better?
That is much better, yes.
What is the most, if you could pick one reason why you have the opinion that Trump is destroying America, what would it be?
I don't have a number one reason. I have plenty of reasons.
Well, what's the number one?
I don't
the
have
number
a
one.
number
If you
one.
could only battle one argument, what argument would it
If
be?
I could only make one argument, then my argument wouldn't be that Trump is destroying America, because one thing doesn't destroy America.
Okay, but the title of your video is Trump is destroying America.
Correct. For multiple reasons. We can talk about everything from his lack of, of abiding by the law, by the
But what I'm trying to
Constitution,
do
by
is I'm trying
fixing the economy.
Instead of having small, debates on multiple reasons, I'm trying to have a philosophical debate about your number one top reason of why you believe Trump is destroying America.
Laney, thank you so
Because
much.
I can talk about my number one issue with why I think the Democratic Party is destroying America.
Then go ahead.
Well, well, that's the point. I'm asking you so I can have a baseline of what I would like to speak to you about.
Well, sir, why don't you just tell me your number one thing and we can just move on with the conversation?
No. We're not going to play that game. I've asked you the question first. If you're honorable and you're trying to be honest on this platform, do me the decency of please allowing us and your viewers to know the number one reason of why you and your videos, your podcast title is Trump is destroying America.
And sir, I just answered that question. There is no number one.
No, you didn't. No, you didn't. You're doing circles around the question. You have not answered that question.
I'm just answering the question
what is
honestly.
The number one, if you could only pick one topic to share with your audience of why you think Trump is destroying America, I would like to know what is the most important issue you have and the reason behind why you think Trump is destroying America.
Gotcha.
Can you please provide me
and
with
for
that,
the what is this 5th time now?
The 5th, 6th, 7th. You keep repeating yourself.
No,
I don't think you have an answer.
Sir,
It's a very simple question with a very simple response. For example, you asked me mine. Perfect. I don't like the fact that America and the Democratic Party is pushing the woke agenda and pushing sexualization to our children, telling that little boys it's okay to be little girls and little girls it's okay to be little boys. That's my number one topic. What's yours?
Wow, someone called it. That's pretty impressive. That was really good. One of my chat, like one person in my chat in TikTok was like, he's gonna bring up trans people. That's pretty funny. So they're like, he's gonna say trans people, and I was like, wow, that was actually pretty good. All right,
no, I didn't bring up the word trans people. I brought in children, school boards.
Dude, I cannot hear you right now, dude. Whatever you're doing right now, stop it so I can hear you.
Well, I'm on a boat. I can't stop the wind. I'm not God.
Okay.
Don't let that be the excuse you hang up on me for the first time.
I can't hear you when the wind is there.
Reason why I think the Democratic Party is destroying America. Can you please share your reasoning of why it's either the Republican Party or President Trump is destroying America on your end?
Copy.
50-50. This is how a debate goes, right? I share information with you. You share information with me.
100%.
And let's have it be honest information.
100%.
Very simple question. It should require a very simple response, correct?
Yes,
so
I
what
agree.
is your top issue?
Okay, cool. I don't have one. 4 words. That's as simple as I can get. I don't know if I can make a sentence that's more clear than I don't have one. I do not have one reason. I do not have one reason. I understand,
you have
sir.
Multiple, but you can't name one.
I can name 100 of them. Do you want a reason or do you want the number one reason? Because if you just want me to name a reason, I can name a reason. I don't have a number one reason.
Important to you and the one that I want to spend the most effort on.
I don't have a number one reason. So if you'd like me to just name a reason, I can do that. I don't have a number one. Sorry.
Okay. Name a reason.
Name a reason? Okay, sure. I don't believe that he should be able to violate the Constitution by deporting people without due process.
Okay. So do you believe that a person who comes over here illegally has any right to anything when there are other people who have followed the actual due process and the actual right way to do it, and these people have waited 6, 7, 8 years, done it the correct way, are proud that they have done it the correct way? Or do you think it's okay to have an open border where the cartels, criminal organizations, other countries are releasing their criminals, their drugs, and everything into our country without repercussion?
Okay, so let me be clear. I didn't make...
So let me be clear. Last night on the news, there was a gentleman that came over the Mexican border. He was a well-known criminal. He was recently let go out of the Mexican prison.
I know you're on a boat. I know you're on a boat, but if this wind doesn't stop, I'm going to have to drop you, bro. I'm sorry, man.
Well, I think you want to hang up more because of the point that I'm dismantling.
No, sir, I will dog walk you all over this live. It's just annoying.
I'm waiting to be dog walked, and I don't think
every time I try to talk,
dog walk me once.
Sir, every time I try to talk, you cut me off.
No, I think you're avoiding the hard topics.
Well, sir, you literally just made. I told you.
Content producer out there.
I just told you.
The universe with false narratives, and ridiculousness.
I said that I think it is wrong that the Trump administration is violating the Constitution by deporting people without due process.
Where in our Constitution?
Stop. Let me finish my statement. You freaking you Neanderthal. Let me finish my sentence.
Oh. Thank you, audience, for allowing this man to demonstrate why the left.
Sir, the audience already knows you're a Neanderthal.
Without it, no.
Okay. The whole chat already knows you're a Neanderthal. Okay. Goodbye. I didn't even kick it. I didn't even hang up. I just muted him. Okay. What I was said was the reason why I wanted to talk was because about deporting people without due process to other countries. Your argument to that was, why do we have an open border? Did I say my number one reason was because of an open border? Did I say my number one reason was because we should not have an open border? Did I say that we do or do not have an immigration problem in this country? I said none of those things. You in no way addressed the argument. Okay? I'm sorry. Maybe that's why you live on a boat, because you don't have the freaking education level to live amongst human beings. Okay? But I am not going to sit here and freaking listen to you just monologue for an hour and then whine about freaking me talking. Okay? Graduate kindergarten before you come back on my live. Okay? Graduate kindergarten first. I'm sure you can do it. They have online courses for it now, so you can do it on your boat. Okay? They have online courses on it now, so you can do it on your boat. Hello? Hello? Oh, you're not there. Thank you, Collie, in my YouTube chat. If you don't have due process, how do you know anything? Exactly the point, which is why I made that point. Never got to say it, but... All right, y'all, let's get this thing up to 225,000 likes. If you'd like to support the live, I do have Cash App, Venmo, PayPal. They're all at Polypolitics, just like my name. I actually forgot to update it after that last gift, so I really appreciate yeah, I didn't. Woo, I forgot about that. If you'd like to help me support my live goal, I really appreciate it. It's Cash App, Venmo, PayPal. They're all at Polypolitics, just like my name. And it really means a lot if you guys would help me clear that out today. Also, we only need 3 more subscribers to hit the subscriber goal on TikTok. I really appreciate that. For all you guys who are watching over on YouTube, I think it's like 60 of you now, which is pretty good for me since I'm just starting on YouTube, so I'm pretty happy about that. Make sure you like and subscribe over there too. It does help to kind of push this thing out and help us to get more viewers in here, so I really appreciate it. It is not that Dawn, okay, but you're on the right track, but it's not that. Hello?
I'm sorry, Polly. I accidentally hit the button.
No worries, Cindy. Oh, thank you so much. I really appreciate that.
Love you.
Thank you so much. I appreciate that. All right. Well, we did have a caller that called in a couple times. He's called in a few times tonight. We haven't really gotten an answer from him on all that sort of stuff. But if you would like to have a conversation, hopefully, without crashing the fuck out, either hit that request to join button or hit that call-in number right there, and we can have a conversation. I really do like to have really just normal human being conversations where we can actually discuss policies and stuff like that. But it does help, again, if you graduate kindergarten before you come up here. Okay, that is a lot more helpful because you learn hey, don't start yelling and screaming when somebody's talking. Call, you wish you could call. I wish you could too. But hey, I'm on here. I'll be on here again tomorrow. I'm on here every day but Tuesdays and Thursdays. So you have plenty of time, another time. Nomad, why don't you call in? I see you chirping in my YouTube chat. Why don't you call in and we can have a conversation? Okay? Don't make it. You did 3 times? Oh, call right now. Don't bother me. If I already have someone up, I'll hang it up. So that I will do. Call right now. I got nobody waiting. So if you come up right now, I'll bring you straight up. Let's see if he calls in. He didn't graduate from a baby yet. Is that boat? Oh, okay. Nomad, I'm waiting for you. Come on up. Are you boat boy? Would you like its history and meaning? Oh, you're talking about the word woke over there. King, you have been literally messaging the same thing over and over and over for I don't even know how long. I just muted him. I don't know how he didn't get muted before. No, man, I'm here waiting, bud. I'm not gonna sit here all day, bro. Nomad was like, you won't accept me up. And then I'm like, I'm waiting for you. And now he's just, he said he called it all these times. I've been sitting here waiting on him. And now he's sitting in my YouTube chat whining instead of coming up. It's pretty impressive. All right. Well, Nomad, I'm waiting on you right now, sweetheart. All right, I guess I have to move on to somebody else. I don't want the freaking crowd waiting. Hello? Hello? Is this Nomad? Hello?
Hello?
Hi, how are you today?
Can you hear me?
I can. How are you today?
Hi.
Is this Nomad?
No, so I just
okay.
wanted to call in and tell you that you're a fucking loser.
Oh, okay. That's nice. Oh, I wanted to keep conversating. Where'd you go? I wanted to keep having a conversation with that guy. Why'd he run away? Hello? That was Nomad 100%. that was definitely Nomad 100%. 1000%. That was freaking Nomad. Yeah, you can't hit me with the flirt and run, yo. You can't hit me with the flirt and run. Hello?
Yeah, so first off, the previous caller is not Nomad.
Oh, you're Nomad?
All right. I'm Nomad. I don't speak like that. You do by calling people Neanderthals and assuming they're
Nomad is
levels,
boat boy.
Let me remind you,
Are you boat
I'm
boy?
on a boat right now, so I'm pretty sure that I have a college degree and a lot more than that.
So the person, by the way, this guy right here, he's in the YouTube chat for you guys that can't see the YouTube chat, obviously on TikTok side, right? Literally, someone asked Nomad, "Is he boat boy?" And he said no.
Well, my name's not boat boy.
And then immediately came
up. That would be
up,
a correct assumption.
And he's freaking boat boy. So whoever that was in my YouTube chat that called that out, good job. Yeah, you crushed it. FOD, crushed it.
What's good about
100%.
noticing something very, very, very easy to spot? Well, is he a college professor now because he put two and two together that I'm Nomad? The person literally calling you out in chat saying that you hung up on me 3 times when we had 3 calls.
I thought it was you, Illusion. I thought it was you. I wasn't sure, but I thought it was you.
It doesn't take a mathematician to figure that out, Scooby-Doo. But I will tell you the difference between me and you. I didn't use a derogatory word towards you at all. I didn't challenge your education. I didn't challenge you or call you any names. But typical of the left, you guys always like to use derogatories when you get mad. Very typical, very, very funny. So answer my question. You still haven't been able to answer my question. Oh, did he mute me again? He muted me again.
No, I can
didn't
hear
he?
you. I just figured if you were gonna cry, I'd play some music for you.
Well, I'm not crying. I'm speaking to you, but you don't have the intellectual capacity to actually debate
So what's
me
my
on
question?
a one-for-one
What's the question
topic,
you
do
want?
I asked you before, bring up your number one topic of why you think President Trump or the Republican Party is destroying America.
Well, I told you I'd bring up a topic. I brought up the topic of the deportation of American citizens,
Okay,
people
so you
without.
believe that we?
See,
Okay, so let me ask you a
look
question.
at that. You
Do
see that
believe
right there?
Open borders
He
is
asked
good?
me
Hold
to
on.
respond. No, I'm not even done
You
saying
did.
my
You
point
just
yet.
responded. You
No,
did.
I
You
haven't.
did.
I was
You're giving me
literally
the
in the
answer I
middle of a
needed, so now I can
sentence.
continue.
No, you haven't. So, anyways, what I said was the problem I have, right, is that right now people in America are being deported without due process, including American citizens. Okay, and I have a big issue with that because not only is it not constitutional, okay, but also multiple courts have ruled that it is illegal, that some of these people should be brought back, and I have a huge issue with that. Okay, I did not say that the border was my issue. I said the unconstitutionality of deporting people without due process is my issue.
Okay. Is it constitutional that millions of pounds of fentanyl have been brought into the United States through these illegal borders? Is that constitutional? Should Americans die to allow somebody who didn't help build America come over here, who's been to prison, who might be a rapist, a murderer, somebody who's working for the cartel? Is that constitutional? Is that the America that you fight for? Is that the version of America that you would like to see? See, my thing is,
why do you keep asking me? Dude, do you want me to answer your question or not?
Sure. Go ahead and answer.
Because I was nice and quiet and calm and paused, waiting for you to finish, so I
I'll
could
give
answer
you
the
the same
question.
courtesy. Go ahead.
Okay, awesome. So absolutely not. That's absolutely horrible. I mean, the Constitution talks about following the laws, and we have laws against smuggling narcotics in the United States, including the F drug, right? But see, here's the problem with that. Okay, is that over 90% of the F drug that's smuggled in the United States is smuggled in by American citizens, not by freaking immigrants. All right. So, and that is reportable by not only the CDC, but also Customs and Border Patrol, ICE, and the Pew Research Center, right? All of them have studies on this showing that over 90%, well, sorry, I think some of them show only about 85%. So I will say I'm wrong on that. But the majority of them show over 90% of the F drug that's brought in the United States is brought in by American citizens. So, okay, while I think that that is absolutely horrible and we need to be able to equip the Border Patrol to be able to freaking find that, whether it's, no matter who it's coming from, okay, I cannot say that our immigration problems are the reason that that F drug is being brought in. Rolando, thank you so much for the subscription.
Okay, great. You know what? I'm actually going to play with the information that you just propagated to your audience. So let's say that's true, which it's not, because 90% of the actual fentanyl, the human trafficking, is actually done by families who have sold their houses and all of their belongings over in Mexico to pay the $45,000 to $50,000 ticket that they are smuggled under here with the underground tunnels, which are recently now being uncovered and found. Not only that, but those families literally work for the cartels when they're smuggled over here by these means, and they're actually the ones bringing in the drugs. But let's say your information was actually accurate. Why do you think an American would take a large sum of money to smuggle in a drug to the United States? Take a guess.
Because we have a large problem with money in this country, everything from medical bills to large differences in social safety nets, people down their luck. There could be lots of reasons why.
Amazing. Great. So Americans can't afford housing. Americans can't afford food. They can't afford their insurance. What's the cause of all of these prices being so high? Do you know?
Well, there was a lot of reasons for it, why we have such high inflation.
Really? Do you know the number one cause?
The number one cause would have been the rise in oil prices due to the OPEC Plus deal.
Oh my God, son. Okay.
Which, by the way, in
1950s, a single man could take care of a single family household, have a house for $60,000 to $80,000, and on average, they were making $3,300 a month. It took them $750 to pay their mortgage for their entire family, have food on the plate, everything that they needed, housing, insurance, vehicle. They were great. A single father. Do you know when that changed?
In the 80s. Well, into the
In
early
the 80s
90s.
to the mid 80s, early 90s.
Yep.
You're correct. Okay, so you're in the ballpark. Do you know what that was though?
I mean, Reagan did a freaking massive thing to the middle class. I mean, he was pretty much had the destruction of that, but there was multiple different things that went to it. But I'm sure you'd like to lead to a specific one.
So what happens when you have 5 houses but 10 people who want to buy homes?
Oh, are you talking about the ability for corporations to buy up housing?
Okay, let's just hit the nail on the head because we're beating around the bush here. The reason prices and everything have gotten so skyrocketingly crazy, and why an American would ever deem trying to make a large amount of money, which I don't condone, it's absolute bullshit. If you're going to do that, you're part of the problem, not part of the fix. In my opinion, you're not a true patriot. You're a coward. You're actually bowing down to what's happening and taking advantage of a situation that's propagated by the left. No, it's because of all the fucking immigrants that come here without following the right procedures, that take up all the cheap housing, that do all of the work that an American worker wouldn't do for the wages that they're willing to accept. Okay? Now, here's my thing. People have an issue with their country. It is true. It's very true.
No, it's not.
It's very true. It is. It is, and you and I both know it.
No.
Okay? See, I
know the
news.
answer.
I don't watch CBS. I don't watch Fox. I actually go to the government websites where the transcripts are actually printed out by, the transcripts are in the courtrooms with the Senate meetings.
So
and
do
the
I.
actual meetings that actually, I doubt it.
I don't care what you doubt.
I seriously doubt it.
I could not give a
don't
shit
care
less what you doubt.
Because I'm speaking facts, and I don't need to go on Google to represent.
Sure,
these
show me
facts,
the
'cause I
court
already know them.
document or the Congress document that said undocumented immigrants
Stop
were
being
the
lazy.
reason.
Go look them up. Stop being lazy.
Cool,
and
just
using
guide me in the
every
direction.
caller,
What year was it in?
and go look them up.
Awesome. What year
Next
was it
time,
in?
hopefully, you have a podcast. You'll
What
actually
year
come
was
here
it
with
in?
something sensible to say.
What year is it in?
What do you mean, what year is it in?
If you want me to search, I'm sorry. Do you want me to search every congressional meeting from 1985 to now to find out what exactly you're talking about?
Do as much research you need to do to paint the correct picture.
Cool. So you're lying. We'll continue on.
Completely off the rails with the shit that you said. And it's very apparent to your viewers and everybody else who's taking the time out of their day to listen to the nonsense.
This guy's 40, by the way. Can you believe that?
You're right. I'm 40 years of knowledge. 40 years of knowledge. Many different presidents and many different people. Leftists,
How old do you think I am?
Republicans. Sir, you're very young.
How old do you think I am?
Sir, you're very young.
Sure. How old do you think is very young?
You're in a room that I literally decorated for my 15-year-old.
Yeah. How old do you think I am, sir?
Yeah. Man, I'm hoping to God you're not around my age. If you are in a room like that speaks volumes.
Yeah, I'm in my office of my house that I own.
That's my 15-year-old kid's gaming room.
My 14-year-old kid has her own room also, okay? Nobody gives a shit, okay? You're not special. I am 38 years old. I am 38 years old. I am 38 years old with a master's degree. Oh, yeah.
You're 38 years of age.
Yes, I'm 38.
In a room that looks like a...
I'm 38 years old with a master's degree in what you're arguing with me about. Okay? With what you're arguing with me about. Okay? So stop crashing out because you don't like the lights in my room. Okay? And get on with your point. Hello. We can hear your microphone. Why are you chatting in the YouTube chat when you can literally just speak and I can hear you?
Well, you keep muting me, which is very funny.
Sir,
is that how we do things?
Yes, because I'm trying to talk about politics and you want to whine about lights in my room.
You're not talking about
Okay.
politics.
I'm trying to talk
You're
about
talking
politics
about
and
fake
you're
news.
whining
You're talking about
lights
fake news,
in my room
fake numbers,
like a child.
fake facts, fake
You're
facts.
literally talking
Sir,
about.
I'm pointing out how childish you're acting.
Sir,
You
you
are
are
acting
literally whining.
Literally like my 15-year-old.
You are literally up here whining about lights in my room.
Boss, you keep using the word whining.
Okay.
Calling
When
out
literally,
something that somebody is
when
doing is not
literally,
whining. It's called
when
calling you
literally,
out for the shit that you're doing.
when literally,
You're a
the
man-child.
last thing I said
I
that
can
you
see
said
it.
I was lying
You
about.
act like a man-child.
The last thing you said I was lying about, I literally put on the screen from the cbp.gov website that says that more than 90% of interdicted fentanyl is stopped at ports of entry where cartels attempt to smuggle it primarily in vehicles driven by U.S. citizens. From cbp.gov. That's the last thing you told me I was lying about.
You keep listening to that fake news, bro.
Yeah, the cbp.gov.
And all these representatives,
Gotcha.
and all these representatives that Trump is going to arrest.
The literal website from
Right?
Customs and Border Protection telling us how and where they are interdicting the F drug, okay, is fake news. But
So
just
you
some
think
guy
that arguing
on a
one
boat,
topic,
but
arguing
some
one
guy,
topic,
one guy on a boat
is
better
making your
than
entire
CBP.
podcast correct?
Got it. No, sir, you just told me I was lying about this, and I'm just again proving to you that you don't know what you're
You
talking
are.
about.
You're not yet again anything, buddy. You're going on a website looking at fake numbers that don't actually represent the actual problem.
All right, then go ahead and fight me on it. Don't batter me.
Well, I don't have to fight you on it. I'm already over there fighting it now. So you're talking to somebody who's actually in the field who deals with this shit.
Literally no one cares. Get on with your point.
Okay. See, look at that. Look. Literally no one cares. Get on with your point. Get on with your point. Some typical leftist fucking pansy shit that you're going to
No,
fucking reply
I'm just
with.
tired of hearing you.
Tired of hearing what? That you don't have any
You
actual
whine.
legitimate facts? That you're a typical leftist fucking person coming out here fucking making America soft? Let me ask you a question. If we had to go to war with a country tomorrow, would you sign up to be on the front lines? Do you have what it takes to be a soldier?
Yes, I have served this country.
The fuck you do, bitch. You fucking whine and fucking quit day number one. Why are we over here? That's the type of person you are, bro.
Let me guess, you're in the Coast Guard claiming to frickin' serve?
You would rather see a teacher and the leftist side destroy the ideals
this
of
dude
America
served in the
and
Coast
what
Guard.
America truly is supposed to be.
This dude was in the Coast Guard talking about other people's...
For its citizens. No, you started it. See, I started off very sensible.
No.
And I wasn't throwing no jabs, but now I'm throwing
Sir,
some
your
jabs.
jabs are sad, Coasty.
Your whole fucking platform is
You
sad,
see how
brother.
he's not denying he's a Coasty?
Your whole
You see how
platform
he's
is
not
sad.
denying he's a
So you're
Coasty?
talking to somebody that actually has the knowledge.
You know how
who
he's
actually
you
works
see
in
how
the
he's
field, who
not
actually
denying that he's a
fights this shit.
Coasty? Bro, frickin' dude's talking about his service in
fact,
Homeland
the fact
Security.
that I am or am not Coast Guard
No,
or
you
any
are.
type of...
Get the fuck off my live. Get fucked, dude. How dare you sit up here and frickin' talk about my service or anybody else's service? Get fucked. Straight up, dude. How dare you talk about my service or anybody else's service? Okay. Get bent, bro. You're a sad, sad man. You're a sad, sad man. I assume that's probably why you're out there on that boat. Okay? Because probably your whole family stopped loving you. All right? All right. It's probably because most of your family stopped loving you and you had to like freaking go jump on a boat or something. I'm sorry. But literally your incessant whining was just very annoying. When you start complaining about lights in my room, that's pretty sad. Carolyn, thank you so much for the Venmo. It said Boat Boy is probably smuggling them in. Probably. And Lindsay, thank you so much for the $5 Venmo. He's on a canoe. That's funny. That's funny. Anyways. Yeah, Boat Boy was kind of sad. I'm not gonna lie. All right, y'all. I am gonna get off because I'm being yelled at to go eat dinner. which I'm not even really hungry because, you know, it is what it is. Dude, I wish I grew up in a freaking house like this. The house I own is much nicer than my house growing up, to be honest with you. We did not have a very nice house. But the house I actually bought is a lot nicer. I like that house a lot more. Anyways, y'all, I'll be on tomorrow. My girlfriend's yelling at me to come and get dinner, which I probably should because I have barely eaten today because I've been all sick and stuff. So I will see you guys tomorrow as long as I'm feeling okay. I hope you guys have a wonderful night. I love you all. Make sure you hit that follow button before I get off and hit that like and subscribe button on YouTube before you get off. I really appreciate that. Whether you love me or hate me, at least you can have fun and enjoy the conversation over here. So I really appreciate that. All right. Love y'all. Y'all have a wonderful night. All right.